Hello, good afternoon and welcome to Racing Post Live, sponsored by the Betfair Exchange. My name is Ross Brierley and I am stepping into the shoes once again of Mr David Orton to take you through, quite frankly, a ridiculous Saturday. Super Saturday, apparently. We have a whole host of 11 live races to bring you this afternoon with 163 runners. And I've just had one of our guests work this out, nearly £700,000, and that's just to the winners of those races on offer. So we've got loads. We've got pretty much everything you want to get involved in. 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, all the horses, trips, sprinters, stayers, handicaps. It's going to be quite frankly insane today. And of course, we have the July Cup Group 1 action coming up later on, and one of the most competitive July Cups we have seen in years. We've got winners of pretty much every top sprint coming into this, apart from the most obvious of the trials in terms of the Royal Ascot Diamond Jubilee. So it's an interesting day, a very interesting day. Luckily, as I'm in the presenter's chair, the pressure is slightly off to pick winners. I'll just have to be steering the ship through choppy waters and plenty of ports, but luckily we've got two absolute top-class experts next to me to go through the races with a fine-tooth comb. And like I said, 163 runners over 11 races. I know for a fact that they have spent at least 5 minutes on every single horse today. So we're going to get stuck in. Don't forget it's live and interactive as well, so do get in touch if you are watching at home. It is going to be thick and fast though, so if you do have something to say and you want to get it on screen, make sure it's quick, make sure it's short. Just get those tips up, one line. We don't need an essay. We don't have the time, quite frankly. So let's get some winners as the afternoon goes ahead. First things first, to my left, once again, this is the third time I've been in the studio with her. So far, she's picked the winner of the Epsom Derby. She's picked the winner of the Irish Derby. There are no derbies today, though. So Natalie Green is going to have to mix it up a little bit.
You can't make me laugh this much at the beginning of the show. I've got to keep my energy. Hey, listen, I've brought in...
Was that funny? I was trying to be...
Look, I've brought in today.
Why is that?
What gives you energy?
I thought there was...
Iron Brew.
You do, I don't... Are we allowed to show brands? I don't know.
Oh, we have anyway. But I'm not sponsored by Iron Brew.
You might be from now on.
No, group action, but more than that, just fiercely competitive handicaps.
Yeah.
I mean, good luck tipping lots of winners today, but we're going to try. Of course we're going to try.
I mean, to be fair, like I said, I'm saying about the tip the Derby winner, we also tipped the winner of the Chip Chase and I think a 14-runner sprint at Newcastle last time out.
Yeah, I was good at Newcastle, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I wasn't so good at Newmarket.
At Newmarket, yeah. I do remember us saying that we did have to go away and rethink the July course a little bit. But that's where we're going this afternoon. We also have York and Ascot, of course, to get stuck into. And one man whose name is synonymous with success on today, or today's past, as it were, is Mr. James Millman.
Good afternoon, Roscoe.
There we go. One person clapping.
Applause. Yeah, John Smith's Master Carpenter. Obviously not myself personally.
Yeah.
He won it 2015, I think it was.
He did, yeah. He was
still
losing
won
some weight, wasn't he?
As well. Kalani, I think, was the runner-up. Cracking win. 200 grand prize money. Was quite well wanted. And I had a couple of rides. Bunbury Cup finished third, and I would like for Mars, and was second in Superlative. So actually, for once, you can ask me a question about a race, and I have actually ridden in it and done okay. So that's a little bit better than normal.
So you're the man that can maybe figure out Newmarket.
Maybe. I think I'd be generally on the front end, kick on, away you go. Some jockeys ride it better than others.
Yeah, some jockeys do ride it better than others. That's a big thing. I think James Doyle in particular seems to have it down pretty well, and Ossian Murphy seems to mix it up depending on what the race is. So it is a difficult day, but this is, of course, sponsored by the Betfair Exchange today. So there are many ways to skin a cat, and one man who has skinned many cats, that's the intro I'll go with, it's Barry Hall, live from home. Barry, how are you doing?
Hey Ross, how are you, mate? All good?
I'm all right. How are you?
Great, not a bother. Looking forward to today.
Are you having?
You look like it, Barry.
We got you in a little letterbox there, but are we having a few tech problems? Maybe, perhaps.
Looks like it.
Right, fair enough. Very well. What do you think of today, Barry? It's I mean, we'll have obviously it's going to be pretty crazy in running wise with the amount of runners. We're going to have place markets aplenty as well. Are you confident about the lie of the land today?
11 difficult races, isn't it? It's always a difficult day, this, because there's so much going on, and trying to give your full attention to such spectacular cards across the 3 race meetings there's easier Saturdays, let's say, Ross. But yeah, we'll get stuck in. We'll try to get a few quid for charity. I'm just playing to highlight the functionality of the Betfair Exchange, as you well know, and as viewers will know, and hopefully get a few quid for charity along the way.
Absolutely, Barry. Who is the charity for today?
We haven't made our mind up yet for the month of July, Ross. So if you have any suggestions, please feel free to forward them on.
Does it have to be horse racing related, Barry? Or is it
Ideally, ideally horse racing related, considering it's a horse racing show.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. It's a good point, Barry.
One of those things, really,
Guys, any suggestions, charity-wise? Or should we give it some?
Give it some thought for later on, I think.
Yeah, I've thrown you a curveball.
I think we should ask the public.
Yeah, put it to the public.
Deflect.
Okay, well, I have thrown you all a curveball there to be fair, to open up, and there will be plenty of curveballs as the day goes on, as it is a red hot day. Are you a player or a layer mostly today, Barry, or are you mixing it up?
No, a healthy mix, Ross, just to show the functionality of the exchange. So, yeah, definitely. There are 11 races, so I think there's 4 or 5 decent lays in there that I fancy getting stuck into.
Okay, let's start off then. Over at York, we're up to the Knavesmire, where the ground is good, apparently, at York. So a little bit of rain has taken the edge off there. And we kick off with a typical York handicap. Over the mile here is the John Smith's Racing handicap. I say over the mile, over a little bit shy of the mile. But this is the kind of race that you associate with York. Incredibly, fiendishly difficult handicap, wide open. And currently, the favourite, Jump the Gun, is just a couple of points shy of 7-1 favourite, so it is wide open. Jump the Gun 7.8 to back. Agial 8, Wob 10.5. So Barry, unsurprisingly, this market is pretty difficult to crack. Have there been any movers in the morning?
Yeah, Dubai Mirage was well punted, was 22 into 13.5. And we've also seen money for Lexington Knight. It was 23 into 11. So there are 2 that have been strong in the race. I'm going to take, I don't even know who's doing the...
I'm afraid I am today, Barry.
Lays.
I'm going to try and sort the old computer out.
Wouldn't be me, Barry.
As an ex-jockey...
Matty Batch, he's not allowed on this one. And Carly Post, when I was in here, fat fingers, managed to put the back in the labour and
Charlie Post is all right. He's been a lucky man for us, Charlie.
He's done well for Barry.
Maddie can't because he's a licensed individual, obviously, but you're not licensed, James.
No, not anymore.
or we've just stopped you writing it, but yeah, so let's go for it. Wob. I was going to lay it in the win and place, but it's too big in the win now. He's out to 10 on the win. I'm going to just lay him in the place market. I know the 3-year-olds are getting the £9 here, and it's generally an angle that I like, but I think just the mile here tends to stretch him just a bit. He'll go out and he'll try to make ball. I think he'll get taken on the top end by Poet Storm for the lead. I think the trip is against him. The race that he won here, a couple of runs back, has worked out absolutely dreadful. You can't map a winner out of it. Nothing's come out of it that's ran with distinction since. And he got £8 for that. He's getting the £9 as a 3-year-old here, but I think he's eminently opposable. I think he'll lead him to maybe the 2 mark. Whether he's still there at the Lollipop, I doubt it. So I'm going to lay him in the 3 places, take 50 quid out of him. He's around a 2-to-1 chance. So for a liability, 100. Okay. Just standard 4 places here. There's obviously each way. There's the win market. There's 5 and 6 places as well, but just the standard 4 places.
So 3.2. You got 35. Just waiting for the other 14.
Yeah, that's okay. That'll get matched before off. Yeah. Good man. Thanks, James.
Okay, taking on Wob then. Yeah, 2 3-year-olds in here against the older horses. Wob was as Barry said, a winner a couple of months ago here at this track, beating Northern Express. Quite a big ask to get over from box 13 onto the speed for Wob. James, I'll come to you first for this. I've just
pressed the lay button, but I think he's a back to lay option. I think he's going to be in front. I agree with Barry that a mile is probably going to stretch him, but I think in a very open handicap, he might hit under 3-to-1, 2-to-1 in the final furlong and just get swamped. So I was actually going to go back him now and then put him in the back to lay market in running, because I think he's our front runner. Yes, he's got a wide draw. He was still 9 when he won the 7 furlong contest. I think he'll go forward. How long he'll last, I don't think he'll win, but I think he'll go much, much shorter in running. So, like I say, I'm a little bit in agreement and disagreement with Barry, but I thought this was a very tricky contest, and he was kind of my angle into it, because you know he was going to go forward, and front runners are a good record at York.
Yeah, I was going to say the mile trip here. For example, Jump the Gun came from God knows where at Hamilton to win last time out. But if you can kind of get into a rhythm, not necessarily, you don't have to necessarily front run, but certainly in those prominent positions, it can be hard to peg them back.
And especially Ayal, he missed a break on his return at York as well, and he got too far behind and made up too much ground too quickly and didn't get home. So I just thought it was a race which I didn't have a strong conviction, so I was looking at the back to lay option, which Betfair offer. And like I say, Barry's got on the full out place lay. I just think back him early and then lay him and in run him.
So what you want is you wanted to see him out there, you wanted to see him go short and then get swamped late on.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's
Profit
perfect.
either way. That's the aim.
All right, job done. Well, there we go. That'd be ideal. That's just one horse anyway. That's wob, wob, wob. There's 16 others in here, Nat. What was on the short list for you?
Shortlist, no surprise, the first one with Jump the Gun, because what we want to see is it wasn't a one-off last time. So I can see him in pictures now, actually, and looks in fine fettle, well drawn, well treated. So I can see why favourite. But I am going to be brave, and I'm going with Lexington Knight. I think this is pretty punchy for handicap debut on such a Super Saturday competitive handicap. That maiden at Windsor, though, was actually quite a good maiden. It's hard, isn't it, to be really bullish about a consistent horse in novices and maidens, but obviously well regarded. And I think Lexington Knight has got a great shout. So I'm gonna be brave. I'm going for it.
Do it. Lexington Knight it is, who I think was attracting a little bit of money. Now the opposite. One of the ones that is attracting cash is one of my two against the field. I was quite interested in Agyal. Fingers crossed. As you said, James, he does have a tendency to blow the start a little bit, but I do think he's got a lot of talent, and I do think this trip will help. But the other one is La Trinidad, who's been smashed here, Barry. And this horse, I don't know if Roger Fell sits down at the start of the season and just ticks off every York race and goes, right, that's the campaign sorted. But he absolutely loves it here, and he never runs a bad race, and the market is being positive about him.
Yeah, he was around 11.5 just a couple of minutes ago. He has been matched as high as 12 for around 400 quid, but 11.5 into the price he's currently trading at now, which is 8.2. So yeah, he's come in 4 ticks off the back of that support, and he's be challenging for favouritism soon enough. Agyal is 8.8 and 7.4 Jump the Gun, but I wouldn't be surprised if momentum continues with La Trinidad that he'll go off jolly here.
And there's another one here. We've seen a few of these, Barry. A few late Godolphin smashers, and Dubai Mirage again. There's late money coming in. That graph is he's only going one way.
Yeah, he was matched. I did flag it up at the start there at 22 for 48 quid. That's the high that he was matched for anything significantly. He was into 13.5 at one stage, and he's gone in even further to 8.6 now. So, yeah, he's another one. It's going to be like that all day. You're going to be seeing smash up jobs as race approach. People have so little time. The money's coming late into the markets, obviously with 11 races on ITV. So, yeah, expect that. Expect a lot of that throughout this afternoon.
Absolutely. Dubai Mirage then attracting support. Jump the Gun is shortening up as well. Let's mention a few of the other runners that we haven't. Chichester, quick word on him. He won at Carlisle last time, a little bit cosily, I thought. They bought him out of Sir Michael Stouts, and he is running some of the best handicaps around.
He's been running every couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Whether that will catch up with him is the only thing. Handicap's been at £3. He'd been beaten off the mark of 85, 86 previously, and this is perhaps a slightly stronger race, I'd say.
I agree with you on that. Just whether be caught out. That was arguably a career best, really, wasn't it? At Carlisle, and the strong gallop over the trip clearly suited Chichester that day, and the cheap pieces of the headgear obviously also helped. So you want to see if that helps again. If I'm talking any sense.
No, absolutely, yeah.
So it kind of looked like it went in his favour at Carlisle. Yeah. But I just wanted to mention really quickly. The ground, obviously most of the form on soft ground, but Eagle Way could just hit the frame at a slightly bigger price. I don't think I'd be annoyed if I didn't mention Eagle Way. Yeah,
there's a bit of cash for him as well. Ivan Furtado in pretty good form. Jim Crowley for Ivan Furtado as well, a fairly rare combination, I'd say.
Yeah, replacing Jane Elliott, who's big ride in the Group 2 at Newmarket for her boss Tom Daskin. But this horse was second in the Victoria Cup behind River Nymph. Was a cracking effort, not beaten far at Newcastle last time. Again, overpriced. I think it's a good one to mention.
Okay, absolutely. This is wide open, as you would expect, but the market has jumped the gun at the top. There is a bit of money for La Trinidad. Dubai Mirage maybe just ease back out to a more reasonable price as well. But this is wide open. Last couple going forward. Barry is laying wob for a place. James is back in that win and then laying it back in running. What price are you laying it back?
Probably that 3.5, 2.5 to 1.
All right, so you're hoping he goes fairly short then?
I think he will go relatively short.
Okay.
Stall 5s we need to keep an eye on for the William Haggis horse. Agyal 3 out of his 4 starts, he's reared or had issues coming out the gates. If he breaks well, he's probably one to back in running if you see him in a relatively decent position entering that bend.
Yeah, he could go from 8.4 to either 16 or 4s after about a furlong, couldn't he? Depending on how he starts. So
He needs to be the last one in as well.
and Lexington Knight for Nat, and I'm with Ascot and the Trinidad. So that's plenty of angles. It's going to be a crazy day. It's going to be a crazy day. So let's hope we get off to a good start. And I'm going to be trying to call all 11 races as well, so this should be fun. York, they're often racing for the opener then over the mile, and Ascot, he stumbled a little bit, but he's not got out too badly with the rest of them. There's no obvious early pace on here as they try and settle down. It looks a fairly modest gallop early doors with coming down the outside, I think it's Poet's Dawn making the running as well with Gallipoli, and in behind those Wob Wob Wob, who is a little bit keen on the inside. Fame and Acclaim behind those Lexington Knight, and I think that's Ebury as well, isn't it? Eagles Way's a bit wide, as is Dubai Mirage, and don't appear to be going a mad gallop here, James.
Not going very quick, but I think Barry's landed the bet because Wob 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 taken back, didn't go from the front, which is what he wanted him to do. He's off the bridle now. Very keen as the Haggis horse, but he is in a better position than he was last time.
Barry, quick market update from you. How's it going?
Yeah, you've got La Trinidad trading at 6 now. Wob 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 out to 20. Jump the gun 9.8. 7.2 Fame and Acclaim. So that's your top of your mark.
Yeah, OK. Fame and Acclaim, yeah, travelling very well indeed for Les Air, but it is Gallipoli in front. Fame and Acclaim, Jump the Gun is in a nice position given how strongly he finished, and La Trinidad is on the bridle and looking for a gap, but it's Gallipoli. Fame and Acclaim throwing down a challenge. La Trinidad hasn't got that gap. Here comes Ascot as well. Surely he's got a huge chance here. Ascot giving a crack at the whip. Also Ebury out the wide outside as well. Fame and Acclaim, Ascot, Dubai Mirage, Chichester. La Trinidad gets that gap, and La Trinidad comes through. The York specialist throws it down. La Trinidad hits the front from Ebury back in second. La Trinidad stays a little bit further than this. He loves York, and he's going to go on and score again from Ebury, Fame and Acclaim, Dubai Mirage and Ascot. La Trinidad, guys.
Well done, Roscoe. One of the
Well
two.
done.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. This guy absolutely loves York, and there must have been a bit of in-running interest there, Barry, as he was a big eye catcher on the bridle. He got caught in a pocket, and then he eventually got that gap. Tell us how that graph looked.
Yeah, once he got that gap, it was all over, wasn't it, really? The runner-up Ebury hit a low at 3.2, which is 9-4. La Trinidad, he didn't trade any higher in running than his pre-race price of 15. There was small money matched, I think, in running around the 9 mark, but only very small.
Okay.
Not a massive in-running story there, Ross, to be perfectly honest with you. Obviously, we landed our bet with... It looked like Wob 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 sulked a bit when he didn't get to the front.
Yeah,
Poets
even if you
Stone
try a
got
different trip, you can't change your tactics, and front running is what he likes to do, but he didn't get to the front, and that was game over. The problem with Jimmy Sullivan, he was too keen on the Haggis horse. We just see the rerun now, he's nearly bolt upright in the saddle trying to hold him, and that's meant he's had nothing to finish with, whereas Rowan Scott, nice and settled, just tracking him actually on the winner.
Yeah, Ascot, I mean, he must have traded fairly short as he caught my eye a little bit. Dubai Mirage also threw down a chance, and Ebury. Barry, like you said, it's not a massive in-running story. I think if La Trinidad hadn't have got a gap, it would have been an in-running story.
It'd been a different story, yeah. Ajay traded low at 2.18, just a little under 5-4, Ross.
Okay, what did you make of that race? Now, a typical York handicap, and time again, York horses come back and...
Yeah, I know. I just like what you said, don't fix it, it's not broken, because my pick, Lexington Knight, he was always busy on him, never really seemed to want to get into it. Fine, breaking out and looked to be in a really good position. I was thinking, this is nice, looking great, and then started sort of being quite animated in the saddle, so I knew then that wasn't going to happen for Lexington Knight. But all credit to the winner, they'll be absolutely delighted. I bet you there's a few celebrations there today.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, again, of all the tracks to get a core specialist, James, York must be, pretty high on the
Northern connections as well.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's just it's the whole thing at York. I bet you they'll be absolutely going wild. Good for them.
Absolutely. The Trinidad 13-2, the SP in the end beats Ebury 22s. Fame and Acclaim 16s. Dubai Mirage at 15-2. And there were 5 and 6 places. Ascot finished 5th. Barry, I didn't quite catch who finished 6th, but obviously there's loads of different ways you can. You don't have to pick a winner to profit necessarily. That's what we're talking about, isn't it, today?
No, we've kind of highlighted that in the opener there by laying in the place market Wob Wob Wob, who was well beaten out. We could have laid him We laid them in traditional 4 places. You could have gone 5 or 6 places as well. So there was 3 place markets in overall. There's also an each way market and a win market as well, obviously. So 6 markets in total. And you'd see that in most races, most of those big handicaps that we'll encounter today on the 11 race card.
Yeah, I think Wobb's finished dead last in the end, doesn't he?
The wheel dropped right out very quickly. So I hope he's okay in the morning because he has stopped alarmingly quickly. Never went a yard.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, that's it then. That's race number 1 for a mad afternoon here. We've got York, Ascot and Newmarket. Talk to us about so-called Super Saturday. Do you think it's a good thing to have all these races on? Does it get you excited? Do you get really stuck into a fantastic Saturday? Or what was that, Barry?
No, definitely not. It's a disaster.
Yeah,
It's a disaster for everyone involved. It's just done by the race courses.
Yeah, that's the only people
really,
that profit is the courses.
They're the only people that profit from it. From a bookmaking point of view, fixed odds bookmakers and the exchange, it's just too much going on. Like the York card is a standalone Saturday feature card. It's the same for Newmarket. You know, you've got that Chester meeting on. You've a great card in Ascot as well. That's probably a standalone Saturday card. So it's trying to crowbar that into one day, and it's just. It affects levy. It's a negative for the levy as well. It's not a great look for English racing.
Yeah, I think that's what the joy was for me last week, Barry. Is that I'm basically looking at Sandown, focusing. I know Haydock was a great card as well, but you kind of had an obvious feature and a really good support, and that kind of 1-2 is quite a nice setup. But this is, it's just way too much.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're preaching to the choir here, Ross.
You can have too much of a good thing.
You can, absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I said, the only thing is, as a punter and an analyst as well, you're gonna have to go back. You're gonna have to watch these races again. It's just too much.
You could just spend like days trying to get through this. I mean, like I said, it's great, but I think there is a fundamental issue with a bit of race planning in the calendar. It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it needs to be addressed.
But there's big
It's
talk,
quite
isn't
simple in the fact that the Newmarket July meeting was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, midweek. It sat well, then you had the Saturday moving elsewhere. Yeah. And while they get a few more people in attendance at Newmarket, it's never that big a crowd on a Saturday compared to what it is on a Friday. I'm just surprised that they can't work something out to make it better, because the data proved last year having less meetings and transferring one onto the Sunday, it helps the levy, so that then brings more money back into the sport. So everyone knows it's the wrong thing, but no one wants to really be the one to sacrifice their slot on a Saturday, and that's the trouble. If none of them will give it up, I don't quite know how we get past that.
Well, I mean, put it this way, if it takes a global pandemic for racing to actually go, maybe we should have a look at a couple of things then. What else are we going to have to do to get this switched out? But
they all want their day, but you've got to do what's best for the sport in the long run, and actually, boost up the midweek, the festivals. That's fantastic. Big July meetings, it's great.
Yeah.
It's great to have it in the week. Yes, people say, I can't go, but it's not just about that. It's not just about the attendances on the racecourse.
Yeah, and it's a bit feast or famine, isn't it? I'm looking at next week's cars, I'm thinking, I think I'll have a week off for the weekend, really, because there's not much else going on. But obviously, this is a live and interactive show, so if you're watching at home...
and you disagree with us.
And you disagree with us, feel free to tell us. If you're absolutely loving 7,000 races to analyse, then let us know. But we're going to go over to Newmarket for our next race. It's the 205 over at Newmarket. We've already had one race on the card there, and we had a short price favourite beaten in the first, but they get trickier from here on in. A fillies handicap for the first race on Newmarket's July Cup card today, and Samut heading the betting here at about 4.5 to back. Tell us about the market here, Barry. Of course, got a couple of Royal Ascot eye catchers lining up in this race.
Yeah, She Do was the Springer earlier on this morning, was in as short as 9, which is 8-1. But I just see she's drifted back out to 13 now in this 3-year-old fillies handicap. Difficult race. Samut 4.5 is your favourite at the head of the market. Had shared that with King Mania, but she's out to 5.5. 6-8. Rinkna, who's come in for a bit of support, and Nebulosa's come in for a bit of support. She's into 10 now as well. Andrew Balding's filly, the Andrew Balding and Ushie Murphy factor has been a bit of a team throughout the weekend and Saturdays as well in recent weeks. Just for our charity bet though, James, please, I'm going to back Rising Star, and I'm going to back her just place only. We're going to keep it simple. We're just going to go standard 3 places here. She had a nice break and she finished third, or she was third to the Flying Ginger and Pontefract over a mile. She carried top weight there. I don't think she truly, although she's won over a mile, I don't think she truly gets it. She's dropping back to 7 furlongs here. She was dropped a pound for that run as well. She's rated 85. She won twice as a 2-year-old, and she was beaten 9 lengths in heavy ground at the San Siro in a Grade 2 in Italy for fillies. Probably wasn't a bad run. They took her out of Ascot when the ground changed as well, but she really relished the ground here, and I think she'll run well at a big price. So just in the standard place market, please. Yep. In the win market, she's 44. Well, I've had a few quid in her at 44, just chance. But in the place market, we're just going to have 50 quid win on her in the place market. And we're happy to be a price taker here as well. Okay. Around the 5-2 mark, 3.6.
For the ordinary place, she's 8.4.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong horse here. Yeah, 8.4. We'll look to have 50 quid on there at 8.4. That will go in over onto the lay column and wait for someone to come in and lay us that bet, which we should get before the off time in around 8 minutes.
Okay, there we go then. A big price play in the shape of Rising Star here at Newmarket. James, again, from a jockey's perspective, talk about Newmarket, because we were talking about it last time, weren't we, when we were in for the last meeting. And I've seen a sort of from another channel an interesting tweet the other day saying Newmarket sometimes, low bias, sometimes high, sometimes front runners, sometimes they come from the back. It's a tricky course for jockeys to figure out, it seems.
The draw bias, I think, does change even from day to day.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a specific about the ground. I think pace angles, and obviously when one race happens to work out that way, like Lemons, everyone wants to follow that bias along. So I think the pace is probably key, but what I do find it's quite undulating, a lot more undulating than the rolling mile.
Yeah.
And I think if you can get your horse rolling on the front end and they're handling a dip, especially 5, 6, 7, the shorter trips, I think you can get away in the front end. If they go too hard too early, especially when they race longer distances around the bend, you get sucked into going too soon and then the vulnerable closes. So you do have to ride accordingly, but I remember Mikel Barcelona used to ride a few years now for Godolphin. His stats used to be absolutely astronomical on the July track, and some jockeys really do hit it exactly the right time, especially when you're riding there every Saturday during the summer, the Friday nights, you get into a little bit of rhythm, and I think that can be key at the track.
Yeah, I was going to say, like I was saying about James Doyle, he's ridden 4 winners in the past couple of days at this track. Oisin Murphy, I think he got a bit of stick, Oisin, yesterday. He got a bit of stick for front running in one ride. He got a bit of stick for holding a horse up too far at the back. I mean,
it's all that show jumping he's been doing.
It's really messing with his
Ron Hicks said, didn't he? No, I think he's just doing what he thinks best. It's easy to give stick, isn't it? But
surely, yeah.
It's very easy to criticise.
It's very easy to criticise jockeys, isn't it, mate?
It is, though.
They often make mistakes, though. To be fair, alcohol-free, nothing was going to go on. There wasn't really much pace, like a pacemaking angle as such. And at Newmarket, if you get an easy lead in the front end, it can be the place to be. Might not have suited her, or she might have been beaten by a better horse. Snow Lantern, she's really stepped up at each start so far this campaign, having settled much better at York. But like I say, if it's a slow pace, the front end is generally where you want to be at Newmarket.
And Barry, running-wise, I mean, it's quite a deceiving camera angle at times, isn't it? You think, they're all in a line here, and then they kind of come into the final furlong, and actually they weren't at all. So I found that you do get a few horses go rather silly short prices when they weren't necessarily in with a chance.
Yeah, well, I suppose a lot of the more experienced in running layers will allow for that a lot of the time, Ross, but for not as keen in running punters, it can look like it can be quite deceiving. Sometimes, like the camera angle be almost they're head on, and you'll struggle to find which one is actually in front. But I don't think there's any massive bias in terms of bettors winning or losing on it. I think just sometimes the more experienced guys will find a way to profit from that.
Okay, yeah. Well, what are our
that
angles?
Makes any sense at all?
I think it was a nice bit of fence sitting there, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, it was beautifully done.
The answer is I don't know, Ross.
Yeah, today.
I think
the truthful answer.
There is a bit of that, but I do think there is a bit of that about Newmarket. It is a bit, one race to the other. You think you figured it out, and then it does change. Anything to do with the fact that I know I keep banging on about this. I keep trying to figure it out as well. There's not many tracks that are both speed tracks, but also have a bit of a stiff finish, are there? That mixture of the two.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Chepstow.
Yeah.
Which obviously is a lot lower grade on the flat. And
yeah.
You try and get a bit of momentum and you hope you get up the hill. There's always a chance that you can get chinned if you've gone that slight bit too early. So it's not the easiest to judge. And I'd say if you're getting that rhythm, if you're riding it 5-6 races a day, I do think it does help. I think this is a cracking fillies race. Yeah. Lots of these come in form. And
absolutely.
One that I really like, well, actually quite a few might like, but King Mania. Chris Wall's been very bullish about his filly from the word go. Now, she kind of benefited. Just 2 runs, she got a mark. because of the way COVID meant they had a very restricted 2-year-old campaign. So somehow 66 was their opening mark, and they knew that 66 was a good mark. She went to Yarmouth, 5-4 favourite, easy win.
She was about 7-2, I think, the night before as well, because I remember thinking she's definitely a handicap prospect here.
Yeah.
She was smashed off the boards.
Chris Wall family as well brings them on. Kingman's probably the best stallion the mayor's had as well. Come back 11-8, short price at Leicester, 1 on the bridle, and then 1 at Donny. Only 6 runners, but again, 1 very easily. Now she's gone up £20 in the handicap, but I'm sure Chris Wall thinks she's a black type filly. She'll have to be, because it's a competitive little race. But I worry about Samut, hard race at Ascot on heavy ground. Might just have found her out a little bit. And Rick Nari is very uncomplicated. This is a step up in grade for her. So I'm going to put my faith with Chris Wall. King Mania, I think, could be very nice. Double a bubble, just denied a black type winner to Chelmsford. I think this filly's got a cracking chance of making amends here.
Yeah, okay. King Mania then is currently 5 to back on the exchange. Chris Wall and Jack Mitchell then for Mr. Millman.
Yeah, I think Samu might be hard to stop in this, so I'm going to go for bigger prices. 1 is an each-way bet, which is Star of Emirati. I hope people think I'm flipping mad, but I think is outrageously overpriced for John and Thady Gosden. Only having a 4th start for them, for the stables. Obviously, big success with Kevin Ryan last year. She won a biggie with the Sweet Solera. I just thought Frankie on board today. She's got to be a big each-way player. She's run in some terrific company in the past. But one horse I do like, again, bit of a bullish pick, but She Do for Roger Varian. Now, finished 10 lengths behind Samu in the Sandringham, but this drop back to 7 furlongs I think could suit her, but also back on better ground. I just thought that would be quite a big positive, actually. So She Do, I was quite keen on, but Star Emirati is my big each-way price just to hit the frame, hopefully.
Well, I hope you're not mad.
Because I'm excellent in Newmarket, obviously.
Yeah, I mean that might be the problem, because I also agree that she does look a bit big. I mean, she's run a couple of really nice races here at the track. She won last year. That 5th behind Sacred as well over on the Rolling Mile. You know, you got Sacred, Saffron Beach behind those, Seattle Rock. I mean,
and
all those horses.
Didn't like the ground at Ascot last time.
No.
I watched the replay and just didn't look that comfortable on it. So I thought again today's conditions might be better to get a place.
And was completely drawn away from the action as well. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's the interesting thing here with Ascot form as well. And we saw yesterday, I mean, you say about Samut having a hard race, but for example, the Falmouth yesterday, you know, Alcohol-Free, Mother Earth, Snow Lantern, that Lady Bowthorpe, all...
They did tend to run on the earlier days when the ground wasn't as testing.
No, it was pretty... When Alcohol-Free one week was pretty bad, wasn't it?
It was for Friday, it was testing. Yeah. Like I say, just you never know, whether, especially with Philly, how they take it. Some don't take it very well. Others are absolutely fine. It'll be 22 days since she ran in the Sandringham. Just the other two haven't really been tested. Ricknar and King Mania, they've both come here on a hat trick. Both each time have won pretty comfortably. They've not really been put under pressure. Whereas Samut had a hard race at Royal Ascot.
Ricknar looks a bit fresh. In the preliminaries as she was going down, she had a few broncs.
Yeah, a bit of a...
She was having a buckaroo. Very happy with herself going down.
Well, hopefully she'll settle into the race quite nicely. But yeah, let's talk about the market, Barry. We've got about 4 or 5 left of them to go in here. Any late moves that we need to keep an eye on?
No, Samut's still strong at the head of the market. King Mania at Samut 4-1, 4-8. King Mania, Ringness 7-0 now. She Do on the drift back out to 13. Nebulosa's been strong at around the 10.5 mark. Spirit of Bermuda, keen front runner. That's 15. Expect her to be up at the pace along with Professional Widow.
Okay, very well. Last one goes in. A Spirit of Bermuda is the last one to load into the boxes, or
is she going to jump out once she's actually in there? That's what she didn't do 2 starts back.
Yeah, she is clearly a little bit flighty, but all or nothing, James.
She's very sweaty as well.
She's indeed. Right, they're ready. They're racing at Newmarket and they're off, and they all jump out quite nicely in the end. She Do maybe just a little bit fresh in the race, as Natalie was saying, going down to the start. And yeah, she is throwing her head around as not quite settled. Al Soraya is on the lead behind those, Spirit of Bermuda and Rising Star. Then Samut and the very keen She Do. Another couple at the back, Nebulosa, are also struggling to settle a little bit. James, talk to us about this again. A couple of these not necessarily getting into the swing of things in the early stages.
No, King Mania, she's also a bit keen. Ocean Murphy's a bit keen on his mount in the Kirsten Rousing colours. Nebulosa, She Do still pulling. Nice lead up front in the red and white. Al Soraya outside. But Sylvester, you can be dangerous in the front end.
Yeah, I was going to say, where would you want to be right now?
probably Samut, but she's not travelling that well. But that kind of place, 5th place, not too far off her leaders. Some of the principals are quite a way behind.
Very keen, some of these, aren't they? Still, you don't really want to see that.
No, Ricknell coming into it on the bridle on the far side's got a big chance. Nebulosa, Professional Widow, Samut, Star of Emirati looking for a gap, has a chance. Ricknell is coming through to throw down a challenge. Here comes Samut. Of course, it was a mile last time out and is weaving around looking for a gap. Anyone's race here, and Rising Star's got a chance here. Barry's big price play has hit the front. Rising Star, Samut is coming from the back and is struggling to make up ground. Rising Star, Spirit of Bermuda, Star of Emirati and Samut. Rising Star in front. Barry must be at home. Absolutely hoping for the line. Rising Star, Spirit of Bermuda, but Spirit of Bermuda has got up to beat Rising Star and Star of Emirati. Spirit of Bermuda doubles up there for William Haggerson. Barry, I thought you had it. I really thought you had it.
Yeah, I chanced it in the win market for myself, but unfortunately not. They always get you in, don't they? But ran a cracker of a race she did, and we collect for the charity 370 quid. So that's a nice start. We've won 410 in the first 2 races, so that's bang for the charity. But Rising Star hit a low of even money, would you believe, Ross, in running. Spirit of Bermuda hit a high of 18.5. Had a Betfair SP of 14.8, Spirit of Bermuda, but not many really got into the race. Rising Star was there from the get-go. Spirit of Bermuda wasn't far off, and came out all right this time, James, the winner.
She did indeed. King Mania, one that was just one keen at the back of the field. Samut keen early. He switched her right across to the stands rail, so not in our picture, and then you suddenly see her poking in 50 yards from the line, and she has finished strong. I think up to a mile for her. Probably same for Samut. But on that July track, if you get out in front on an easy lead or up the front end doing it nicely, you can get away from them. And then that was certainly key with the first 3 home. They were all quite handy.
Yeah, Spirit of Bermuda then wins. This race has gone to a few horses who've gone on to listed and group prospect. She's got Goodwood form, isn't there? There's a nice fillies group 3 at Goodwood, isn't there?
Tree, I think it is.
Yeah.
You'd imagine that would be on your radar because Qatar put a lot of prize money at Glorious Goodwood. And that would be a nice option for her, I think.
Absolutely. But a few of those, She Do in particular, I mean, you kind of knew your fate early, didn't you, with that one? Too keen.
I've known my fate early, the opening race, and listen, but hey, that's what happens. Sometimes you try and make these picks, you try and think of ones that was too keen. It was silly. It was never going to happen. Star of Emirati, much more pleasing. Yeah. That was good. It was a big prize.
Return to form. That was
that was good. I was really pleased. That'll be going down in my book. But great for connections though with Spirit of Bermuda because she clearly maybe a bit stroppy. Obviously refused to start in Portsmouth. And then, as James said, she got really sweaty, but. Maybe she's a bit of a thinker. That's the type that she is. But it must be great for them then to get a win on a big day. So, yeah, great.
Yeah, absolutely. She's, 7 furlongs and fast ground seems pretty much ideal for Spirit of Bermuda, who wins at 12-1 in the end. Rising Star 33s. That's quite a crossbar rattle there, Barry. And Star of Emirati at 12-1 back in third. I thought if you've had a place spot at Newmarket, you'll be pretty happy to snook through that. But again, it is, it's that kind of day. It must be hard as well, Barry, like you said, for bookies and fixed odds and exchanges, but you can't reasonably, get these markets bang on with so much to go through, can you?
In terms of the efficiency of the market and pricing?
In terms of pricing, yeah. I mean, obviously, it's just as hard for people to price up 200 runners as it is for you to analyse it.
Yeah, that's the difficulty always, and obviously there's AI involved in that as well now. Sure. But in terms of the actual liquidity coming into the market, because there's so much going on, it's not coming in till maybe, like usually on a Saturday, you'd have a build up to a race. You maybe have 10 to 12 minutes build up to a race. This time round, it's just fast and furious, and you've got maybe 4 or 5 minutes. The liquidity is coming in, and the efficiency of the market's only correcting itself then in that 4 or 5 minutes before the off of a race. So, yeah, you can back a horse at a big price, and you can trade an awful lot shorter pre-race. Because of that the ebbs and flow of race times during a busy Saturday like today.
We'll be over to York for the 220 very shortly. There were a few winners in the chat as well. Of course, it is pretty manic. I reckon we should have enough. I'm sure the producers have got plenty to do outside, but maybe throw a little bunch of tips up on the screen before each race, even if they are pretty short ones, as apparently a few people were with Spirit of Bermuda in that Newmarket 205. But next up for us, we are over to York for the John Smith Silver Cup Stakes. It's a group class, a mile and 6 furlong event, and we do have an absentee in the shape of Il Arab, who would have been quite well fancied this morning, but has been pulled out. So we are left with Fujairah Prince, now the new favourite for Roger Varian and Andre Azzini at around 3-1 to back. Hookham, Sonny Boy Liston and Quickthorn, all single-figure odds as well, Barry. But yeah, a couple of talking points. One is Il Arab coming out, and the other one is the flip-flopping favourites here.
Yeah, I think the market has this right, to be perfectly honest with you, Ross. I couldn't believe that Hookham was favoured ahead of Fujairah Prince, and this was my nap of the day. Fujairah Prince, he's got an unblemished record off the back of a break. If you have a look back, 285 days, won, 324 days, won next time up, 362 days, won, 66 days, he won. And he's off 266 days ahead of today. And he won last year. He won the Ebor. He won the second in the Irish St. Ledger, and then he went on Bagran and finished third to Trushan in the long distance cup. He's a very, very consistent horse, and he's a horse I want to be with here. So we're just going to have 50 quid win on him, please, James. Happy to be a price taker here as well at 4.2. Thought Hookham in the first time tongue tie, that was a bad sign. He obviously, they're concerned about his win. Sonny Boy Liston has been well supported for Johnny Murta, who brings a couple over to the Knavesmire this weekend. Quickthorn as well as a horse that I have a lot of time for, but whether he's up to the class of the top two in the market, he has to prove that yet. But one horse has just been money for Longani for Roger Charlton and Martin Dwyer. There was money for him, 28. He was earlier on this morning. He was into 13. He's out to 16 now, but Lugani is one to watch out for. But Fujairah Prince for me at the head of the market. I think he'll take a bit of beating here.
Okay, Fujairah Prince then for Roger Varian, whose horses are in insane form at the moment. We talked about him on the last show, didn't we? That he's a very considered and studious man, and he's been
gentleman.
He is, and he's not a bad trainer either. 24% strike rate at the moment. Yeah,
I mean, I just mirror what Barry says. I mean, all those points Barry made. I mean, goodness me, the Ebor, when it's kind of flawed to say about the layoff because we've already been through all those numbers. So I can absolutely see why Fujairah Prince is so strong in the market and can absolutely win this. But I don't like to go back on myself, and I've always liked Hookham. I like him as a horse. Yes, the tongue tie, then obviously the tongue tie is to keep their tongue down, get that air going in his passage. But to me, this actually looks a really good opportunity for Hookham to get back onto winning ways. You know, if I was the trainer, this is the race I'd put him in, genuinely. I thought it was actually quite pleasing. Ran a good race in the Hardwick Stakes. Royal Ascot to get a third place. Nothing wrong with that. And like I say, if you're looking at an opportunity to get back into winning closure, this is it for me with Hookham. Yeah, and that Hardwick Stakes, James, so far has thrown up Sir Ron Priestley and Broome. So it was a pretty good renewal. Yeah, and the Wonder Mare, wonderful tonight, absolutely bolted up in it as well. So certainly a boost for her. He ran well, didn't he, really? 8-1, he wasn't in that race. He wasn't expected to really trouble the principals, and he stayed on nicely over a mile and a half again, suggesting stepping back up in trip's going to suit him. I do prefer Fujairah Prince out of the two at the head of the market. I think he goes well fresh. He won at Royal Ascot last year in the handicap, then won the Ebor nicely off 108. Course distance form, hands a variety of surfaces. Lots in his favour because I liked Il Arab. That was my choice, and I'm not quite sure why he's been taken out. So easy really for Fujairah Prince, I think, to be my selection here. Yeah, Fujairah Prince and Hookham then for everyone in the studio and at home. So concentrating on the head of the market, Jesus has got in touch. Great. I assume he's got a selection and a saver. It's
not even Easter Monday.
Yeah, he's an all-year-round kind of guy, isn't he? Roberto Escobar or Sonny Boy Liston for the win, unless Fujairah Prince can go fresh. Well, as Barry said, he definitely can go fresh. If anything.
No issues there.
Yeah,
I think that's a positive for him.
Can you getting the giggles again?
It's
just
Jesus.
Your face makes me laugh. That's the problem.
He's got one of those faces.
I see someone says in the comments, Ross, that you look like an extra out of Oh Brother Where Art Thou in that shirt. You know, the Coen Brothers movie.
I was, I did. My mate did send me a message as well saying, have you broken free of a chain gang over the past week? So.
And someone says I need chicken wings and desperados, which you're bang on there. Whoever made that comment, I definitely need chicken wings and desperados.
Oh gosh! Yeah, we should do that. Yeah. Quickthorn though.
We'll go back to the race. No, fine.
Sorry, because otherwise you'll just set me off.
No, it's fine. We were gonna get in touch with Jesus, I know, but maybe God and the Holy Ghost can get in touch. We can get the whole Holy Trinity. What were you going to say about Quickthorn?
Does Quickthorn look very classy when he won the 1-mile-4 handicap this term? I thought it was quite pleasing, and it's probably got a bit of a shout in this. So we don't just stick with it. Well, actually, it's a bit of money for Quickthorn, isn't there? 13-2. That was at Royal Ascot. Hugh Morrison, Jason Watson on board.
Yeah, talk to us about the ground conditions. Can we have a quick look at the times, James? Are you that opener at York?
I can get them up, but visually it didn't look that soft, which is the worry for Quickthorn, because I think he's going to excel when it gets bottomless conditions. Still
slow by 0.5.
So that's a very good time.
That is a good time, isn't it?
Bearing in mind they didn't go that quick either early on.
Yeah.
So I would say there's a lot more good in it than much good to soft, which is the negative for Quickthorn, because we were discussing before we were on the show. I like him as a horse. I think he's a very, very talented individual, but he hits the ground pretty hard.
Yeah.
Ascot, they wanted as much rain as possible, it nearly abandoned, and it was just about soft enough for him. Taking on better horses, classier horses, they might just get away. There was rain forecast at York. They've only had a couple of mil. It's not really enough for him, I don't think. But like I say, keep an eye on him, because if the evil comes up soft, he would be the one there. But he might just blow his mark running in this race.
Yeah, or they might be. I mean, the Newbury back end of the season or something.
Simon Stakes, the Arc Trial, whatever it was, that kind of race.
The Arc Trial, it definitely isn't an Arc Trial.
The Trade Descriptions Act will be having a little pop at that race. But yeah, he's a lovely horse, and I think Hughie Morrison really rates him. I know O'Sheen really thought he was his Royal Ascot banker of the week with the rain coming. So he's a nice horse, but it just didn't look soft enough in that first race at York.
Okay. I quite fancy Roberto Escobar to run quite a good race here for Paul Hannigan and William Haggas. I thought this was maybe a bit overpriced. 4-place market as well. I thought he'd have a chance. Again, we're going with course form. He's 2 from 3 at the track. He beat Red Verdon last time out. It looked modest enough form at the time, but Red Verdon's gone out and franked the form over at Sandown. And, he's one defeat here at this track. He was sent off 11-2 behind Pile Driver, and obviously had Subjectivist in behind him as well, Mogul. I mean, that Great Voltigeur...
It was a strong Great Voltigeur, wasn't it?
It was much stronger than it looked at the time, isn't it?
Yeah. I think Pile Driver, because of the smaller yard angle, people have kept on overlooking him, and he is actually a very, very good individual. That Matthew Flinders form, he's been a talking horse in handicaps all year. When he won his novice, that's why he went such a short price in the Great Voltigeur, considering he was only rated 90, and he actually went up £13 for the run. So, yeah, he's interesting. I wouldn't rule him out, because he's still got that progressive profile, hasn't he? He's only had, 5 starts?
Yeah, absolutely. What, Roberto Escobar, 4 places, please. Barry, what we got?
Yeah, well, in the win market, he's currently trading at 11.5. In the 4 places market, he's 2.44, so just under 6-4. You can back him at 2.54 to lay. So get around the 6-4 mark to finish in the first 4. Obviously, there's standard 3 places there. There's 4 places, or if you want to cut one out and take 2 places, that's the market available as well.
Yeah, I tend to be a bit cautious with the place markets, Barry. There's only so long you can have in the game before you get sick of being Chim for the 3rd, and you think I'll take the 4th and play it safe.
Caution's not a bad thing to have when you're a punter, Ross, especially when there's 11 races to get through.
Absolutely, yeah. And as befits my shirt, I don't want to be waiting for the get out of jail race at the end. Hookham back into favouritism then here as they load in over at York.
He looked very good in pictures, Hookham. Yeah. He's a tank, isn't he? But Fedora Prince looks very, very relaxed in the preliminaries, just really lobbing away, nice and calm. Hookham looks, he's just a beefcake. He's fantastic. But we should not ignore, I hope I say it right, Sonny Boy Liston as well, Johnny Murtagh, because they know what they're doing. They
do absolutely know what they're doing. This is a bit tougher, but again, he's been running behind Japan, Broome, and maybe he will have a little bit of a squeak, see where he goes from box 10. I think there's quite a bit of late money for him as well, Sonny Boy listed. So we'll see how he goes. Right, they are just about ready then here at York for this 220. Good luck to everyone, but especially good luck to Jesus. And they're off in the racing then for the John Smith Silver Cup Stakes. And a little bit sluggish out of the back there was away he goes. And again, not a mad early dash for that pace, without Box going on to lead them up, with Roberto Escobar on the outside. Luganini's a bit keen. Fajera Prince has settled into a nice position there, but is maybe a bit fresh as well. Hookham's on the inside. Quickthorn, Sonny Boy Liston. Then we've got away he goes, Mirando, and Max Vega is out the back. But once again, at York here, James, it's looking like a bit of an early dawdle.
Yeah, an outbox who battled on Gamely, didn't he, when he beat Logician at Newmarket a couple of weeks ago. He's was the pace angle, and he's getting a lovely easy time in front. Again, Jimmy Sullivan's having a few issues. Longanini's pretty keen for him in second place, not got much cover. I'm quite happy where Andrea is on Fujera Prince, a lovely little position.
Yeah, and he's not going to get caught down that rail if the pace doesn't collapse, is he? So outbox in front then, Roberto Escobar and Luganini. What are you thinking, Nat? Again, it's a fairly modest gallop here. You must be happy with Hookham as well, because he's settled quite nicely.
You know, I think he's settled really nicely. I saw on outbox Paul Moran had a quick look behind his shoulder before wanting obviously to come across and give him like a nice easy lead there. Hookham and Fujera Prince at the moment, obviously they both look in good positions and pretty relaxed. So yeah, let's see if I get a win.
Barry, talk to us about the market here. It looks like the front two have shortened up a little bit because it's not a mad gallop. They've got nice positives.
They've shortened up just a little off the back of their Betfair SP. Hookham 365 now. He had a Betfair SP at 3942. Fujera Prince with a Betfair SP at 4888. Quick Horn. There's no real shorteners at the moment. I think that's reflective of the pace. The race hasn't really developed and won't, it looks like, until they turn in.
2x2 now as they go around the home bend. Very static at the minute.
Still a long way home in the home straight over this trip.
Yeah, you don't want to go too soon. Fujera Prince has just come off a bridle quite early compared to the main contenders. Andrea just chivied him along there. He's back on the bridle again now.
I mean, as a horse, he must be used to a much more stronger gallop than this.
The Ebor in particular.
Yeah, exactly. So
Hookham into 7-4 now.
Yeah, Hookham's gone very short then as they turn into the home straight. Outbox in front, Roberto Escobar, then Luganini. Hookham's down the inside, has got a nice posse. Fujera Prince is being rousted along, but of course he does finish well. Quickthorn's travelling well, as is away he goes, fresh off his Maidan trip. Sonny Boy Liston coming from the back as well, but it's Outbox now challenged by Roberto Escobar, who's got a little bit of a squeak. Hookham, though, catching the eye with the way he's travelling. If he gets home, then he's got to have a huge chance here. Outbox, though, still to be passed. Hookham, Roberto Escobar, Fujera Prince, Sonny Boy Liston, those out the back are struggling to make an impact here, and it's still Outbox out in front. Outbox has them going for Paul Moran and Archie Watson. Not much of a pace going. Hookham throwing down a challenge. Fujera Prince coming with a run as well. Still Outbox out in front, but Hookham seems to have him covered now. Hookham taking it up with Outbox on the far side. Fujera Prince and Sonny Boy Liston battling it out for places, but Hookham settled into the race nicely, was given a lovely ride and goes on to win. Beats Outbox. Fujera Prince. Roberto Escobar finishes fourth. There we go, every single time. And Hookham was a pretty cosy winner of that night. Well done.
It's very stressful, this racing game. I feel very
as smooth
stressed.
as you like.
No, hands have gone sweaty. Jamie just gave him a little tap on the neck when he was saying, right, come on, lads, now we're going to pick up. And I thought he did that very nicely indeed. I think that was extremely pleasing. As I said earlier, I think this was the golden opportunity to get back to winning ways. You want them to get back to winning ways. Confidence. And that was very good indeed. Happy with that. Absolutely. Oh, what do you think of the new number things on their bridles, by the way? I think it's brilliant. You've seen that. So it's like a new...
in case they get loose, they can find them in the middle of the track.
I just say they quickly whip the saddle off, and all the numbers are on the bridles. You can quickly identify the horse. I think it's brilliant. It's been done abroad, hasn't it?
Yeah, and they do flap a little bit.
Oh, don't say you're not going to like it.
I'm not.
You were going to
come. Well, I'm going to come over to you for that pernickety comment in a bit, but let's just finish talking about the race as we go on. But yeah, Hookham again, another. I mean, not many in-running stories so far today, Barry. You could call Hookham out, 3 furlongs out, couldn't you?
Yeah, very much so. He travelled like a winner from a long way out as well, especially with Fujera Prince coming off it, turning into the straight. Stayed on well, I suppose. Last year's Ebor winner. One big news there is Quickthorn traded low 101 for £2.
Someone got very excited there.
Yeah, someone had £2 on Quickthorn at 101, but 28 quid traded at 6.2 on Quickthorn. Sonny Boy Listen traded low 6.48. Would you believe? He looked like he was travelling well at one stage, but the winner didn't trade above his Betfair SP.
Did the runner-up go short at all? Outbox getting that easy lead?
Yeah, what was Outbox?
6 point something. I thought he traded 3.65.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Outbox, he's a horse who, he just keeps running in these races, doesn't he? He keeps running big ones.
Bearing on how fragile he was for previous connections, Archie Watson team seem to get him out every week or so, and he often runs with credit. And that could be key later on John Smith's. If they don't go hard early, you don't want to be too far behind in big field handicaps at York. It's in 2 races so far, and Hookham by far the best. The fact that Outbox 18-1, the runner-up has managed to last so long when he was probably up in class today, it does show you don't want to be too far away.
And the story of Fujera Prince, it wasn't really run to suit him, Barry.
No, he took a bit of a hold for the first couple of furlongs, but then he seemed to settle in okay. I think he's run a quite an admirable race. It's his first time ever being beaten off the back of a break when I back him, but unfortunately for him, I think fortunate for connections, that's probably not a bad run really, considering the winner. He's obviously appreciated the application of the tongue tie as well. He's got home okay too, so just waiting to see if we've got any updates for him. He's potentially an Ebor horse, isn't he?
Yeah, I imagine he'll be back because it's such a high-class handicap now. Although he's group horses, you've got to be a group horse to get in. So he's not going to be carrying like loads of weight compared to his rivals. I wouldn't imagine.
And what are we thinking about Hookham? An Irish legend or something? Is that a?
Well, he too could go Ebor, couldn't
Yeah.
he? Really?
He could
I
go
was
an
gonna
Irish
say-
ledger, yeah.
Yeah. Either, Ross.
Either or, both.
Options are now firmly open.
They are, yeah. But I mean, these horses, a horse like Hookham, when you get into your 4-year-old career, you've got a few options, but I don't know. I just find it a bit bitty. What do you really aim for? What's your peak?
He's not quite a King George horse, is he? Over a mile and a half. So you're going to have to stretch him to mile 6, and then probably see if he is a cup horse. To be honest, Subjectivist is out with an injury.
Yeah.
So Ron Priestley, obviously, he's that kind of grade now, so we'll be stepping up a little bit for the Johnson team. Not much from Ballydoyle. Stradivarius, is he as good as what he was? Probably not. So maybe he's just stretching out to 2 mile. You've got the
Big,
long
strong.
sail back at York.
Yeah.
Look at his frame. Look how strong and thick set he is.
So I mean, that gives the impression that he was going to improve with time as well. He's going to build into, he's got.
Perhaps not always. I mean, some like 2-year-old colts can be absolute units, but to me, he just looks thick set. Like if you watch him run, he's got quite a wide stride. He's got a broad chest, so he's quite strong. He's a strong type of horse, and with that tongue tie on, and then when he is feeling a little bit under pressure, he thinks, "Oh, I can breathe. I'm fine. The air's going in."
It does help, doesn't it? I find.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
What?
Tongue tie.
I mean,
It's just how you said it does help. I was like, we can.
I mean, being able to breathe. I've never got the tights out
try
for
it,
a run.
Ross. We should go for a jog and see if it helps.
All right, let's do it. I'm happy to do that. Maybe we can get Betfair to sponsor that as well. I'm sure bloody people watching. Good week for the family as well. Baid, obviously, full brother to Hookham.
He's nice.
Absolutely hacked up.
He's a classier type than Hookham, isn't he?
Yeah.
3 good wins, 3 good time figures. I know you like your speed figures, and you could see from Leicester when he actually took off at the home straight that you knew he was a nice horse.
Yeah.
Royal Ascot week, wasn't it, when he went back to Newmarket? So a few people didn't really talk about him too much, but I think he came on the scene to me Thursday.
Absolutely. Hookham then wins fairly cosily, 3-1 is SP in the end, beats Outbox at 18s and Fajera Prince at 130. And Barry, like I said, I'm like a multiple divorcee. I've been stung too many times before, and I'm glad I went with that 4th place for Roberto Escobar.
Yeah, he just snuck in there, didn't he?
Absolutely. The amount of times, honestly, the amount of times I go, you know what? I'll be a bit greedy. I'll take the slightly bigger odds, and then you get done.
And it's always just done. That's the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, if they're beating 3.5 lengths or whatever, but
the amount of like 4 folds, 5 folds, 6 folds, whatever folds I put on, it's like place, win, place, and then 1 out the back. Doesn't even make it on the screen.
Just snuck out. But okay, well, we're well into it. So we still got 348 races to go. So I feel a bit like the show has started at a fairly steady gallop, like those York races. But I'm just a bit wary, James, of by the time we get to the July Cup, we could be burnt out.
Well, it's a sprint finish, isn't it? Because we've got the York race. The 5 furlong sprinters are out in action at the end of the day. But yes, it's so much racing. Ascot, we've not even got to Ascot yet. And we've got a really competitive summer mile renewal this year where there's 5, 6 head in the market that's struggling to find a favourite. So yeah, we've got probably stronger class of races coming up later on.
Yeah, don't be worrying. You've got your Desperado and Chicken Wings to come yet. So
Absolutely.
as you said earlier, you'll be fine.
That's it. And then we're. I think we could all record a single, perhaps, like in the film. Have you seen Oh Brother Without There?
I've absolutely no idea what you're going on
I
about.
thought you liked films.
You don't strike me as a cinematic man.
I don't mind the odd one, but I didn't even know what it is, what kind of genre.
Have you seen the Coen Brothers?
I've heard of them, but I don't know what that film is.
No.
You're in for a treat, James.
I'll take your word for it, Barry.
It is. It's an absolute blinder.
Coen Brothers are brilliant.
Favorite Coen Brothers film, Barry?
Probably Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah. I thought it's the only one you've seen, isn't it, Barry? Come on, you're pulling our leg here.
Probably, yeah.
Google's coming out because I need to even see if I should know what this is.
Yeah, I mean it's very hard to beat the Big Lebowski for me. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're just talking a different language.
Absolutely.
You never seen the Big Lebowski
You
either?
ever see the Big Lebowski, Joe?
No, I've not. No.
My
Clearly, he's
God.
not the kind of director that I would, or directors that I would follow.
That's it. Oh, well, I can't wait to see what's
It's
in
not
your...
Marvel. James is not watching.
Keep it simple.
Absolutely. Keep it simple. James Millman, that's his logo. In fact, it was on your
Exactly.
britches, wasn't it? I think. Keep it simple.
Keep it
but,
simple.
Yeah, no messing around.
Definitely not.
Newmarket is up next. We're back for the 240 here on the July course, a 0 to 100 handicap for 3-year-olds. Unfortunately, has only attracted a small field. I say unfortunately, it's quite nice to have a bit of a break. We can talk about every runner. What a treat. And Royal Fleet is odds on here for Charlie Appleby and William Buick at 1.93. Carder is around the 5-1 mark. Cahale, latest generation, Titan Rock and Darville all go. Somewhat unsurprisingly, CSET doesn't. He's a bit of a mudlark. But Royal Fleet, it's Newmarket, it's Charlie Appleby, and unsurprisingly, the market very positive about him, Barry.
Yeah, his 3-year-olds are just absolutely flying the colts, aren't they? I think, Janie, he's had 38 or 43-year-old winners this year so far. He's just remarkable sort of class of 3-year-old colts he has. And this could be another one of them. He's very impressive in his 2 starts. Obviously, last day, he just came under a bit of pressure. Traded at odds, or just a shade of odds on in running last day, and managed to go away at the finish and win quite convincingly. He gets an opening mark in 93 here. He was 6-4 against. So he's been absolutely smashed up. He's probably the best backed horse of the day, really. He's 196 now. I fancy taking him on, but definitely set my own odds. There's no way I was going to be laying him at 6-4. So we're still going to lay him here. I think there's a couple of horses in this that have a chance. Cahale, Titans Rock as well. Kadar ran well in the Britannia. Titan Rock was being money for that. He's into 13.5. Won well in Redcar. And Cahale, who was stayed on well after being headed in Chelmsford last day. So off 93, it looks a very workable mark for the favourite. But at the price, we're going to look to lay him at about 196.
196.
So we're going to look to take 50 quid at a backer stake at 196, please. And that'll go into the late column, waiting for someone to come in and take that office. But he was
1.99 at the moment.
Yeah, just put it in at 196, and someone will go in the 196 and looking for someone to come in and back that with us. So we'll go into the blue column in the back part. But yeah, just looking to take him on at the price, but he could be a very, very good horse. And I wouldn't be upset if I didn't get matched at 196.
Okay, very well. Royal Fleet then. Barry is taking him on. Now, Charlie Appleby paid for your summer, hasn't he, pretty much? So with Adayar and Hurricane Lane, and I'm sure plenty of others, are you with the Godolphin horse this time?
Well, I've got 2 other picks because I was just trying to get some value, bigger price. But Royal Fleet looks like could be a bit of a superstar. Also looks like could be a group performer. I absolutely think that can happen. I think he's coming in on good momentum, and I can absolutely see why favourite. Like I say, it did look a bit of a superstar. I was going to mention latest generation here. He really needs to chill out. Needs to settle down. I just wouldn't dismiss him for Simon and Ed Crisford. He raced freely, second at Sandown latest, but took a really keen hold. So they need to have done something at home to calm him down. And then Kadir, useful front runner for the Johnston team. Joe Fanning on board. It's just whether then he's a front runner, whether he can stay there. I think that's what's going to be interesting if he can stay there. But Royal Fleet looks something special. But I always like to try and get a bit of value, so why not?
All right, okay. Royal Fleet is potentially a bit special. I think we might have maybe just got matched on the day, have we?
All matched, 1.96.
Okay. So Barry's taking Royal Fleet on. Nat is also taking him on, but thinks he might be a superstar. So do we just have to take him on at the price, or do you think he's...
I'm taking him on.
Yeah?
Kadar, I just like the angle of the horse on the front end at the Newmarket July track. Best jockey for that, Joe Fanning, all that experience. Joe rides him for the first time in a while. He ran well in the Britannia, where it's really hard for that prominent tactics. Proto came from a fair way back under Oisin Murphy to win that race. He's just got that strong handicap form and experience against 2 very unexposed horses. Royal Fleet, 2 from 2. He has actually made all in both his novice contests, so he might be ridden pretty handy by William Buick. And Cahale, 3 wins on Neil Weather. He did come back at Chelmsford, but his 2 wins were in the winter, so you can't say he's definitely been campaigned specifically for Neil Weather. But that's a little bit of a question mark switching to turf for the William Haggas runner. But I thought he's probably exposed off 99, but he was, 5th to supremacy at Glorious Goodwood last year, 3rd in a Group 3 here at Newmarket in September. So lots of back class. He's shown he's trained on as well. I just felt that he was pretty solid under a very good jockey in Joe Fannin.
Yeah, he ran a bit of a blinder, didn't he, in the Britannia? And obviously, the horse a couple of places in front of him, Dubai Honour, won at Newmarket this week as well. Yeah, he could be interesting. He never seems to run a bad race, does he, Carter, as well? He's absolutely bomb-proof in terms of his consistency. Little bit, surprised to see him. He had the air a bit, I thought, as a 2-year-old, that he might peak and then disappear a little bit and then come back later on. But he's kept going as a 3-year-old. He
has, because that last run, probably the soft ground didn't suit him behind One Ruler at Newmarket. But yeah, this year he's come back unfancied 16-1 when he returned at Chelmsford. Yesterday, I think he might not have trained on, but then he won a nice little race at Goodwood, beating Legal Attack, where he showed a cracking attitude. His speed figures are solid. I just think that experience he's got. I agree with Natalie. Royal Fleet, probably the best horse in the race for time. Red Hood, often the case for an Appleby horse, but seems to be going down to the start nicely enough. William Buick, very keen to take him down steadily.
Trot, hasn't he? Has he got a choppy little trot?
I think he's just making sure he doesn't risk taking off. He's going down very, very steady. So that might be a question mark. If you are taking, let's say, Barry's been matched at 1.96, you've got a couple running for you to take him on.
Do you also have a potential with a horse who's basically he's been the class act in 2 novice events so far, admittedly very good ones. Sorry?
What's he learned?
Yeah, exactly. So if something like Carter does go out there and go, right, let's see what you're made of, let's see if we can actually rustle you up and get you out of your comfort zone, is there a potential for him?
We're just still learning about him, aren't we? But he the thing with Royal Fleet, he does look like he's quite versatile tactic-wise.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of a good point, but as James says, for us, and we've seen horses like Cadeau's, a bit more experience, and then if does sort of be prominent and can sort of dictate the race a little bit, then that's why we take them on. And even though I do think Royal Fleet could be superstar, it just for me it just might not be today. I like the horse overall, but I also want a bit of value. But that's the only way I like. That's just personal preference, not. I just prefer to get a bit more value because I'm greedy.
Well, there you go. Some punters at home, though, will be, on a tough day, might see this one as a potential penalty kick. Andy Sim, Royal Fleet just wins. There we go. Andy Sim he's playing it simple, straight batting it here with Royal Fleet. I mean, his races have worked out incredibly well, haven't they? He's beat some very nice types on those starts. At Kempton, he beat Il Zaim, who's been running good handicaps. Alabama Boy, who's won 3 handicaps. Twilight Madness, who's won twice since. And that Yarmouth race back in April looked a bit. He won it so easily. You thought, how good is this? But that's thrown up winners as well. Lankaran bolted up the other day, obviously. Chalk
Where's he
Stream.
been since April?
Yes, I was just going to ask that, Barry. 81 days since we've last seen him. Bearing in mind all the nice big meetings we've had where he could have stepped up and arguably to pattern class, might have had a little setback. And I'll say he's got that red hood on. He was taken down very steadily. So there's certainly, I think, for your laying angle, there's a few favours against Royal Fleet. But like I say, he could be nice. But I think he's quite a keen going type as well, mind.
Yeah, we'll see if he does progress. Of course, horses like Creative Force, of course, which say later on was winning in handicaps. Very different type of horse, of course, but Charlie Appleby can take his time and end up with a
running in front boots as well, which is very rare for a flat horse.
Flat horse, yeah. See it jumping quite a bit.
It's just he's not the easiest to deal with, and I expect he might have
quite delicate.
Knocked his tendon, I would imagine, or something like that when he last ran. Because I say flat race, and especially in the big races, I can't remember the last time I saw a horse running boots flat racing. So clearly there's a little bit of fragility there.
Yeah, so he suggested we might.
Those boots just keep his legs on, you see.
Yeah, that's a bit. Yeah, the tongue tie keeps the tongue down. The boots keep the legs on. Yeah, I mean we're all learning.
We're all learning. That's the technical term for it. Keep the legs together.
No, it's good to be in the studio with two. I mean, I spent my entire life behind a computer, so I know what horses look like, but I'm not sure I've.
That's probably why you're a good punter, though, because if you know horses, maybe sometimes you can know too much.
I'm detached.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm detached from it. Yeah, absolutely.
Detached from reality.
Yes.
There we go. Well, with that under its belt, I'll I'll smoothly ignore James and go back to you, Barry. Tell us what's happening with the market as they go in.
He's 10-9 on there, 1.92 at the moment. Your favourite Royal Fleet. 5-5 Kadar has been steady at that price. KL out to 7.2. Latest generation was 8 out to 12.5. 14 Titan Rock. Darvel 65. He's doubled in price.
Yeah, Darvel very weak indeed. First time cheap pieces for Kevin Ryan. Latest generation is just going in here. He seems to have settled okay. Again, he also had the hood on to the start, didn't he? So we could have a few quirky sorts in here, but I think pretty much everyone's taking on Royal Fleet. I'm hoping Carter does run a big race as well. He's got every chance. Although Andy Sim at home, ignoring us completely. Don't overcomplicate things. Royal Fleet just wins, he says. Let's find out. Carter, unsurprisingly, bounds out into a lead. Royal Fleet in behind.
He's a bit keen today.
He is a bit keen. Suddenly he's gone, hang on a minute, this is my job. What do you think you're doing? But now we've got Darvel coming.
He's hit the odds against 214 on the exchange off the back of that pulling, and the Kadar into 4.8.
Yeah,
It's
no
not
surprise.
what you want to see if you've taken those odds, because he's really taken on William Buick, and they're not going that quick. Kadar, quite a smaller version compared to his rivals, but he is on the front end, and William Buick's having a few issues.
I mean, given the front two are
Let
kind
him
of taking
stride
each
on.
other on, Royal Fleet's coming through here. Cahal looks to have a nice position, James.
Yeah, he's not going too badly, tracking the outsider. William Buick's taken him away from the whole opposition to the far side rail, hanging possibly, and like I say, not ideal what you want to see.
No.
Yeah, this is a little bit stranger, isn't it? Royal Fleet's gone over to that far side rail now. It seemed to just...
This all looks a bit funny to me. Like his tail's all
In front, is he?
Yeah, he just looks really hard to hold. I mean, it's not exactly like William Buick's weak. Do you know what I mean? Like you can't hold
he's
him
won.
like that.
If he is a superstar, he's going to have to find plenty off the bridle. Carter has got a chance, but he's gone over to that far side and he's in front. Titan Rock is throwing down a late challenge as well, but quite a few of these really struggling. Royal Fleet has gone from looking difficult to looking like the most likely winner, but the others are getting a little bit closer. Here comes Titan Rock throwing down a challenge. Is
Titan
that
Rock's
early gas
dangerous.
going to cost him here? Royal Fleet now getting a crack of the whip as well. Titan Rock hasn't gone by. Carter's not gone by. Latest generation's coming through. Royal Fleet might be a superstar here. He's done everything wrong. He's still in front.
on.
Here comes Latest Generation from the clouds. Royal Fleet in front from Latest Generation. Royal Fleet wins. Beats Latest Generation by about half a length in the end. Titan Rock was back in third place. And, I mean, apart from, maybe doing backflips and racing backwards, he did everything wrong there, Barry. The market was negative against him, but as soon as he went to the front of the Will Buick, they never got near him.
He was a massive positive at pre-racing the market, obviously. It went against him when they saw him pulling, and when he lugged over to the far rail, he traded for small money at 6-0. So he's traded as big as 5-1. He had a Betfair SP at 10-9 on 1.90. He looks a bit of a boy there, but he still's come through and he's won okay. Your runner-up, Latest Generation, traded at a low at 2.36, which is 11-8. Cahal traded at a low of 3.2, which is 9-4. Kadar traded at a low of 3.3, again 9-4. And Titan Rock traded at a low of 1.70. So they backed everything around him to get the favourite beat, but he still came through and pulled out just enough. So, where would you go with him now? He's a funny-looking sort, isn't he?
He is. I mean, talk to him about him, James. I mean, he's
clearly got a lot of ability.
Yeah.
Pulling up, he had issues, William Buick. Through the race, he had issues. I don't think he wanted to go right across the other side of the track. I think it was just literally letting him stride on, and then he kind of took him there. In a more conventional race around the bends, he ain't going to be able to race like he did today. But against that, he's still beating a pretty decent field quite comfortably. Maybe dropping back to Southern the way how keen he was, a slightly stronger pace might help him relax. But that's not ideal going forward, but the latent ability there is huge. And the rest of them, Kadar probably didn't really know he'd gone to the other side of the track. And then they just got left flat-footed in the middle, and it was the one that followed him, kind of Titan Rock, who got quite close near the end.
Yeah, and Latest Generations come from the back. But the two who went down with the hoods, the two quirkiest in the fields, have finished first and second there. Both very different performances,
Yeah,
though.
I mean, Latest Generation, one of my picks. I'm delighted with that, really. And that is a big progression from last time, so we'd definitely be down in my tracker again, because I was really pleased with that performance and actually had the turn of foot to pick up and go, and left the other group, actually. So that's a bit of tenacity, attitude-wise. Royal Fleet probably is something special. Sometimes these quirky horses are. I think it was very brave of William Buick to go. Very brave, but also very experienced. Like, do you know what? I can't. I mean, his neck was right in. Nothing you could do. Do you know what? Go for it. It paid off. I thought it was a very, very smart move.
Yeah. If you make that move and it doesn't come off, James, do you get pelters when you come back?
Yeah, I'm not sure what choice William Buick had on it, really. I think he was that strong. It was kind of the only way he really could try and get him away and relax a little bit better. It's interesting how he goes forward from this. Like I said, we hadn't seen him for 81 days. He had the front boots on. There's clearly been a few issues at home, but fantastic stuff from the ability-wise. Just, I'm not quite sure. He looked quite straightforward when he won at Yarmouth. He didn't certainly look like that.
Yeah, so he's won in spite of himself, Royal Fleet.
Had his whip in his left hand, and he was still kind of
hanging into it. That suggests to me that he's hurting a little bit, and that's why I'm not sure how much it was actually William directing him over there. I think it was him just taking him there. So that's got to be a bit of a worry going forward. But they've got a very good horse in their hands.
Yeah, absolutely. Would that be? I mean, it wasn't. I know he said a fairly steady pace at Yarmouth at the time. It was a little bit difficult to go on. But that the fastest ground he would have encountered as well. Would that have been? Because he had a little bit of a knee action, I thought. Yeah,
that could be a good point. What was it? It was good to firm at Yarmouth.
Yeah.
We won at Kempton on Neil weather. But yeah.
It was good to firm in. It's not. I guess it has rained a bit, but it's not the height of summer, is it? It was back in.
To be fair, it was pretty quick. We had that first 6 weeks of the season. It was very, very dry. Didn't really get any rain at all, and then it's actually the midsummer season where we've had the rain.
Absolutely.
Probably was just feeling something though, but he's got the ability to get him through it. And actually, remember then halfway through a race, the blood's up, your adrenaline's going. It can knock out a bit of, and then got to the line and you just had enough ability to win it.
Yeah, Royal Fleet then wins. Odds on 5-6, latest generation at 9-1. But yeah, he would have been all over the place betting wise. So again, you could have laid him, backed him back. You could have.
I thought Barry was going to land a comfortable lay bet at halfway because it certainly wasn't what you wanted to see if you'd backed him at short odds. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see what they do. They won this race with a horse called First Contact a couple of years ago and sent him over to France for a couple of listed races in Group 3. So plenty of options with a horse like this, James. Yeah,
and you imagine you'll be seeing him in Dubai at some point in that kind of sphere. I just wonder how strong he's going to be both mentally and physically going forward. That's probably going to be the issue of him, even if there is a bit of an engine there.
Yeah. And Andy Sim, Royal Fleet, just wins, he says. Well, he was right. He
was spot on.
Well, I'd say he said just wins. He didn't just win. I mean, that insinuates it was going to be simple. It was anything but simple.
Yeah, he got the memo though. Andy kept it short.
He did.
Well done, Andy.
Yeah, there we go. He said, it's a busy day, so if you're going to get your tips in, keep them as simple as Andy, I guess. Job done. Job done indeed. And again, on a day like today, there won't be many ones that look like easy wins, like Royal Fleet. So we've all got our own angles. So well done if you followed in with Royal Fleet. Moving on, though, we've got a cracking Summer Mile up next at Ascot for the 3 o'clock. We're over to Ascot for the first time on the show today. We've already had a couple of races there over at Ascot as well, and a couple of a big price winner in the last. Vindolanda was a big 20-1 winner in the round track, the mile, and 6 in the last race. And we're on the round course here for this Summer Mile, which is often an intriguing race. As you have horses who are hoping for future Group 1 glory, and you have horses who have so far maybe struggled at that top level. And you kind of get the meeting in the middle here. And unsurprisingly, it's a wide open market as well. Tilsit is 5.9 to back. But Al Sahel, Century Dream, Top Rank, Hakiki, and Sir Busker, all single-figure prices here, Barry. I mean, sometimes you get a horse who dominates the market in the Summer Mile, and then sometimes you get these kind of renewals where, quite frankly, anything can win.
Yeah, they're all pretty well exposed, aren't they, Ross? And that's reflected in the market. Obviously, it's basically 5-1 the field in the exchange, 5.9 Tilsit, like you say. Al Sahel, who's been gelded, he's a 6-1 chance. The same for Century Dream. Hakiki's been the springer in the market, mine. Was matched at a high of 20 on the Betfair Exchange, is into 8.8 now. So the Lincoln winner, he's one that they're giving another chance to. He's disappointed a couple of times since the Lincoln, but he was so impressive that day. Sir Busker, 8-6. I'm going to back the outsider of the field, Space Traveller, won a 4-runner listed race up in York last day. Needs a really good really good pace to aim at, and I think he's going to get that here. They tried him in a first-time tongue-tied or cheek pieces that day, and they stay on again today. But what we're going to do, please, James, we're going to back him at Betfair SP. So in the blue box where it says SP, beside his name there, we're going to select that and we're going to put in £25. We're going to have £25 on him at Betfair SP. And sometimes in wide open races like this, Ross, it pays to play the Betfair SP because you can be a multiple of the traditional SP and you can get some really great value. So be interesting to see if he does manage to win what the Betfair SP will pay. I'm pretty confident it'll be over the traditional bookmakers SP, the industry SP, and sometimes you can get a real bonus along the way.
Okay, very well. Yeah, I did. I looked at this race earlier and I thought, Space Traveller, what the hell is this doing at this price? It is, but that just tells you how open this race is. Toe Jam 123 says top rank for a place. Yeah, another horse who's got leading claims here. Again, this race, Ascot is a pretty specialist track. Only one of the last 10 winners didn't have Ascot form, and that was A-Rod, who was sent off 6-4 a few years ago. Now, the front two in the market here, Tilsit and Al Sahel, do not really have Ascot form, whereas Century Dream, Top Rank, Hakiki, everything else in here has proven themselves at Ascot. And for me, that made this market look like there was an angle in, because the front two, again, especially this round mile at Ascot, you can get caught out.
Yeah, that's the issue with Sebaska. All his form's a straight mile, which very, very different surfaces because it drains so well on a straight track. It's not so good on the round track. Now, I saw coming up, just back the favourite in the race. The last 8 favourites have won, but the biggest price of those was 7-2. Muta KF, who won it back in 2016. We've got struggling to even find a favourite in this race. It's such a competitive renewal, so I found it very, very tricky. I was going to go your angle with course form, softest ground form, Century Dream. He's an old boy now, he's 7 years old, but he seems to be as good as ever. Beat Top Rank at Windsor. On ground, it was probably quick enough, only good ground on that occasion. He thrashed Sebaska in the Celebration Mile at Goodwood last year, similar kind of ground. Lots in his favour, and I just think he's solid 7-year-old, he's going to run his race, and Spencer's on board. Hopefully he's not too far behind from stall 7. That's probably the only worry.
Yeah, Century Dream then, again, you don't, well, I personally wouldn't want to be stuck on that inside rail though either. That's a bit of chaos.
Traffic issues.
Would you be concerned about the draw here, James, with 9 runners?
It just depends. If Jamie doesn't want cover, I wouldn't be too worried, because as Ross says, you're not going to be stuck on the inside, but you don't want to be 4 wide around that bend. It's interesting to see how Jamie will ride him. It's just a very tight race in the fact that Al Sahel, he's threatened to be a very good horse on occasions. He's been gelded since he disappointed again 1 too many times at Meydan behind Lord North. He could be quite a nice horse.
And again, we've seen the Appleby horses are on fire.
Yep. Pat Dobbs riding. Tilsit's got solid form, second in a Group 1 over at Longchamp last time out. You can't rule any that Barry's put up Space Traveller, and you can't rule him out, and he's big price, currently 25s, 24s on the exchanges. So it's one of those races where you wouldn't rule any of them out. I just thought solid, each way angle, Century Dream.
Century Dream it is then, currently 7.2 to back. Nat, what have you got up your sleeve for the Summer Mile?
I'm sure we can cover them all between us.
Let's do it.
We are going to cover
them all.
What are you
going to throw in?
So, Sir Busker, he deserves to win a prize like this. He absolutely does. But exactly what James says, will he be as good on the round course? That is the problem. That is the stand-up problem. But
he also does find trouble quite often. For that 2-box, he could get stuck on the rail.
That's exactly what I've written in here. And admittedly, he hasn't won for a while. So he must be thinking, why you back him to win? I just think that this could be his chance. He's been faced with some massive tasks in previous races and had to get company to group races. So fair play. He's come through quite smoothly. What I thought, though, Ross, is that the ground should suit a bit better today, because arguably it was a little bit quicker than he wanted last time. And I think if you watch the replay, that's kind of what I got from it, that he might prefer today. And I have got a little tip here for Happy Power. I just think he looks quite an intriguing contender in this. He's absolutely, arguably, at his best over 7 furlongs, but he is also a listed winner over a mile. And I just think this trip's not going to be a problem. His prominent running style as well, I thought, so in contradiction to what I'm saying about Sir Busker, I'm trying to cover both angles here.
You're trying to cover every possible angle.
No, I'm only tipping 2 horses, but Sir Busker, my thing is like, will he cope with the round course? Happy Power, different for me, because prominent running style can sit in or just off the lead and then kick off the turn for home. So I think with those 2, I'm going to get probably a win in a second.
You've got on confident.
That is confidence, isn't it? We've just said this is one of the most open Summer Mile for years. And
I've given you the first and second,
There you go. Job done.
Go big or go home.
Please don't go home. We've got an hour and a half and 48 races
You might want me to go home soon.
But Tilsit, just now a favourite here. I mean, I'm going to throw in Top Rank here as well. I mean, we haven't talked about Top Rank, and I think this horse he's taken a while to get going to his very best. But the yard are in fantastic form. He was left behind by Palace Pier at Newbury. He was in the wrong part of the track at Ascot behind Palace Pier at the Royal Meeting, where he was drawn in box 1 down the middle and all the near side action, and he was giving lumps away to Century Dream last time out. I think this could be absolutely perfect. And again, completely straight batting it here, Barry. I think he's a shade of odds on for 4 places, but he
He is
never
a
runs
thief.
a bad race.
Absolute thievery, that is.
This is what he's here for. This is what the exchange is here for.
Yeah, I always thought he wanted a bit of give in the ground. He's a horse that I really have a lot of time for as well. I must admit, top rank, and I backed him in Ascot. But in the 4 places, he's 196. It's just a shade of odds on, nearly even money, really. 4 ticks off even money. But the ground would be a concern for him.
Is it not?
Is it officially good to soft? Is it genuine good to soft ground at the moment? I thought it was drying out.
3
maybe.
seconds slow the first race, which was a 7 furlong 2-year-old race. 7 seconds for the mile 6.
Where was that on the straight?
First race on the straight track. And
the round track was. The winner made all over a mile and 6, so it suggests that they didn't go much of a pace. But still, it's not quick. Put it that way. I think so.
Yeah.
I think he'll get away with it.
I wouldn't put you off him. Yeah. He's a nice horse.
Yeah, I will go win and 4 places to get the money back on Top Rank. Producer in the year, Chris O. Top Rank to live up to its name. Absolutely. Let's get on board, Chris. Mohammed Sharm says Sir Busker at Ascot. Again, Ascot form. Ascot horses. You've got York horses winning at York, Ascot horses winning at Ascot. Horses for courses very much. They are taking their time. Sure, it's a busy Saturday. Why not Ascot? Yeah, sort of on down. We're in no rush. So we better mention a few others, hadn't we? Again, we can mention everything in this race. Talk to us about Hakiki, James. The word on the street was they were going to win the Lincoln.
Yeah.
Then win it at Ascot and then go for the Queen Anne. It hasn't quite worked out that way, has it?
Well, he was never Palace Pier Mark II, was he? The issue, I suppose, is he's looked awkward the last twice, especially at Ascot behind Otis Is Us. He was running sideways. He actually ran a decent race, really, to finish 4th behind Otis Is Us.
Was that the fast ground on those 2 starts as well? That's the first time he's encountered
you could argue that, although
for a while.
He's never really had much ease in the surface. Again, at Doncaster at the start of the year, there wasn't much grass cover for that Lincoln meeting, so it rode quick enough. He's just not gone the right way, has he, after such a promising start? And then he was claiming 7 in that Lincoln as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Progression, regression. That's what I've got.
What was he thinking? I thought he plateaued
Regressed.
more. I thought he progressed then plateaued, which is...
But it doesn't quite rhyme with progression. God.
No, it doesn't.
The curve goes up and down. His curve has flat. I think Ross is the more accurate of the 2.
But doesn't sound as good. So.
It doesn't sound as good, no. And of course, what we're here for is lyrical action. That's what we're here for. Anything else to mention? Regal Reality. He's 6 years old now. He's a funny one, isn't he? Regal Reality. He seems to. He runs in every single one of these races. Pretty much, he'll go from listed to Group 1. He pretty much runs
Group
the same
3 winner. Group 3 winner. Could ever say though? Would you be gobsmacked if he ran a good race? I wouldn't.
If he wins, seeing as between us, we've tipped
all of them.
80% of the field, apart from him.
Listen, don't drag me into it. I'm Sir Busker, Happy Power.
You'd be still at 2. We've only put 1.
Yeah. That's 2 of 9 runners. There's 4 of us. Very well. Okay, good. Well, I thought you were going to come back with a rhyme. But, okay, so... it's completely blanked me there. Barry, do you want to talk to me?
Yeah, your fancy
some
top
sense.
rank is evens now. Was 1.96 is evens now in the 4 places. So if you fancy that, you'll double your money. Tilsit, clear favourite now, 5.5. He's quite strong at the head of the market. Also, Hale, he's an interesting one, isn't he? Having been gelded, he's a horse that, he showed quite some promise, but he just hasn't fulfilled it. Maybe that the crudest cut of all will work for him. He's 6.4, 7-8 top rank, Century Dream 6-6, and it's 8 Sir Busker. Another interesting one. Always seems to run his race, but always finds one too good, Sir Busker. But yeah, Also Hale, an interesting one.
Space Traveller's being backed, Barry. You should have perhaps taken bigger. He's 17s now, I think.
I would say.
Oh, he's just about halved in price, hasn't he? Got a bit of money for Space Traveller, Barry.
Yeah, he was 25 when we backed him. Yeah, he was 25 when we backed him. He's in 17, so he's come down 8 points. Yeah.
Okay, they are down at the start then at Ascot for the summer mile. Then Group 2 contest over that mile trip, as the name implies. And Tilsit is just now a favourite. Well, Century Dream's just overtaken at the top of the betting. There is money for top rank. This is a crazy market. We've just seen 2 horses go down to the start over at Newmarket with that Red Hood, and it's helped them but clearly they were quirky sorts, and Hakiki's got the red hood on. James?
Yeah, he has. He seems quite relaxed at the start. I want to see where Rigor Reality is, because he normally holds up proceedings. He was really tricky in the Sheeley Park colours, new owners now. Sheeley Park gave up with him in the end. I think he's actually down there all okay. But yeah, it's a cracking renewal. Probably the horses that are just not quite at the top level. It gives him a good opportunity to get back in the winners' enclosure. Sebuska, as Natalie says, he deserves to win a race like this. He just does find his own trouble. Can't rule out Top Rank. I think you'll probably get your 4 places. Alsa Hell is interesting in the fact that he's got the gelding operation and the easier ground, good soft ground at Newmarket, 2 really good performances, beaten by Military March, and then that 6th win last year.
Very tricky race. And look, just one more thing to talk about with tactics is there's nothing here that screams to me clear front runner. No,
Rigor Reality has in the past, in that celebration mile where Century Dream won, Sebuska second, he made the run-in.
Yeah.
Did it really work?
A Century Dream, he's led before, hasn't he?
Yeah, Spencer can go on if he needs to.
They're quite. I got the feeling that these are horses that your Century Dreams, your Happy Powers. They sometimes make the run in. They don't every now and then. I'm just wondering whether that first furlong could be the key to this race of who's gonna take it up, especially as the winner made all on the previous round track race. Let's just reiterate what we think.
One horse there won't be.
Sorry, that'll be. Which one?
Oh, sorry, Space Traveller is one horse that won't be making it. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, Space Traveller won't. He'll be held up for a run.
Okay, so Space Traveller for you, Barry. James?
Century Dream.
Century Dream for Mr. Millman. Nat?
Sebuska and Happy Power.
Forecast, job done.
That's right. If it lands, that's a result, isn't it?
I mean, if it lands,
you've got to have faith. In pictures, Top Rank looks very good. God, he's got a swagger on him. I know he's a full horse, but just you watch his bottom. Gorgeous. Look at his swag.
I'm hoping the rest of the runners have to watch his bottom as well, because I think he'll win. So hopefully that's all they'll see.
See, I led you into that nicely.
Beautifully done. Summer Mile then. The Summer Mile, here we go. Last one in is Al Sahel. This early tactical game could be interesting. Al Sahel just a little bit sluggish out of the stalls, as is Hakiki, and also Space Travel down that inside. And as we said, Century Dream does sometimes like to get on with things, and he's going to get on with things here today. And Jamie Spencer from the front. Again, notorious.
It's very steady.
Sorry?
It's very steady away. They're all kind of
Happy Powers, away. Disaster.
2 groups.
Yeah, we've got 2 groups. We've got Century Dream, Tilsit and Al Sahel tracking wide and avoiding the rail. And then Top Rank, Happy Power, Space Traveller, Sebuska, Hakiki and Regal Reality down this inside rail. And again, no obvious pace. And again, I mean, how many races today have we seen where the early pace has been modest?
I'm happier. Spencer's more settled than Top Rank. And Luke Morris are the 2 front runners. He's the one that seems more comfortable, I think, on the front end. And perhaps the best 3 are on that wider rank as they come in together now as you get into the bend.
Yeah, Jamie Spencer obviously notorious for his Ascot hold-up rides, but he does have excellent stats from the front, and he's come through to take it up. Top Rank down the inside. A few of these have not particularly appreciated this steady start to proceedings. Still sit behind those. Al Sahel stuck 3 wide now. Hakiki's going to have to come from last as they turn into the home straight. What's gone short on the exchange here, Barry?
At the moment, Century Dream 3.5, Al Sahel 284 is your favourite now, travelling well on the outside.
Yeah, the outsiders are coming through here. Ascot form, will it come to the 4? Century Dream, Top Rank, Tilsit, Al Sahel, Happy Power, Sebuska stuck down that rail. Century Dream is still in front and has been for a while, but here comes Tilsit throwing down a challenge. Al Sahel also has a bit of a squeak, but is he hanging in behind Tilsit? It certainly looks like it. Hakiki's coming through late as well. And might have a little bit of a chance, but I think he's left it too late. Tilsit, always well positioned, beats Century Dream, Al Sahel, and Top Rank back in 4th place over at Ascot in what ended up to be a little bit of an unsatisfactory race. But the 3 horses who went wide early on have finished 1, 2 and 3 there. And that has been the story of that race as Tilsit wins. Yeah,
they were the trio that were more relaxed. Those that were on the inside didn't really have a natural leader as such, whereas Spencer was happy to go off in front. The old boy, 7-year-olds, ran a cracker. I think Tilsit's actually just improved a little bit this campaign. A good second over at Longchamp. A mile and a quarter, he stayed well and Spencer kicked, but Kieran Schumacher was always in the right place, and eventually he claimed him, but it was a bit of a slow motion finish as such because they went so slow. Nothing really changed in that closing stages.
Yeah, I mean, we on paper we've had some cracking races today, Barry, but they're in running wise, bit unsatisfactory almost. You can kind of you can call.
Yeah, there was no pace there. There was no pace there at all. Like a lot of those horses needed a pace to aim at, and obviously the ground has had a big bearing on it as well. But Kiki, he's the one for me to take out of the race. He's stone cold last turning in, and he's ran on well. 2.6 Alsa hit a low in running. Century Dream hit a low at 2.50, which is bang on 6-4 in running as well. But yeah, I don't. Tilsit, I think James is right. He's improved a bit this season, but none of them will be stepping up to Grade 1 company or will be Grade 1 performers. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, Tilsit, your winner there, and a fairly modest gallop. You knew your fate again with a couple, didn't you?
I thought the forecast went brilliantly.
Yeah, was it second last and last? I think.
Roscoe, come on.
I don't mind. I didn't get offended. I happy power. I said it. Disaster. Not a one moment. Is it got its flipping body straight? Look at the nick of it. What's it doing?
Yeah, he did not enjoy that.
That was hot. Fine. Yeah, disaster. But
I think it was just key. That trio were nicely relaxed on the other side.
Beautifully relaxed. Look at that trio
all over the place.
I mean, lovely, really into strikes. Rhythm. It's all about rhythm. This bunch on the rail here, just all over the show.
Yeah, and again, when the ground goes even anything that's not good to firm at Ascot, that inside rail can be not an ideal place to be. And it's notable that the front three were in that group. I know they were 4-1, 9-2, and 5-1, so they were also the best horses in the race.
Yeah, I just think Luke didn't particularly want to be leading, and the fact that he was leading his little group and was wanting to go a stride slower, whereas the other group were going the speed they wanted to. Probably the three best horses. It's just kind of the way it's worked out. Luke was desperate for them to come over a lot sooner, and they just didn't, and it just made things awkward for him. He's not run bad, he top rank. Did he get you fourth place?
He did.
So, yeah. Century Dream ran a blinder though. Century Dream did really well.
Rotten stuff.
Nice
This
horse.
is the thing, but you can
Profit.
chastise me all you like, but I'll take
Shrewdy.
an even money winner in every race as we go along. That's fine. On a tough day like today, sure it's dull, but it's working. But Tilsit wins 4-1, Century Dream 9-2, and Al Sahel at 5-1.
The winner gets a quote for the Sussex Ross 14 from 25.
I mean, he was a winner last year at Goodwood, wasn't he? So it's not the. He'd have to step on that, Barry, but why not?
You have to step up considerably, yeah.
I think it's going to be a good Sussex as well this year.
It's going to be, it looks like it's going to be a really, really hot race, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, hopefully, because we've had some pretty disappointed mile contests, haven't we, over the past 12 months or so. So it'd be nice to see a few really throw it down to Palace Pier. So hopefully, Tilsit will turn up. He will have to step forward, but the more the merrier, quite frankly, in what could be a red hot Sussex Stakes at Glorious Goodwood coming up in a few weeks. Back to Newmarket we go. Back to the July course here. Very different race indeed here. The Superlative Stakes, a juvenile contest over the 7 furlongs, and a very interesting field here. A bit of Royal Ascot form on offer from a couple of races. Dabab, eye-catching in the Coventry, heads the betting here for the Gosden team. But then we've got two Charlie Appleby runners who swerved Ascot in Native Trail and Private Signal. So it's the Coventry form versus the Godolphin battalions in the market here, Barry.
Yeah, and Eldrick Jones disappointed during the week from that race in the Tattersalls July Stakes. The first three in the July Stakes, the Tattersalls July Stakes on Thursday in Newmarket, hadn't been to Ascot as well. So I suppose the horse that won in Ireland is the only one that's the 2-year-old that ran in Ascot that's won since. His name just Go Bears Go. Yeah, that's the one.
Norfolk form.
So I thought the favourite was opposable here, and as you know, in these 2-year-old races, anything could take a giant step forward. And the one I like in it is Austrian Theory for Mark Johnson and Joe Fanning. I just really like the way he won first time up in Doncaster. Private Signal, who finished second that day, has won since in Leicester. It was 4.5 lengths back to the third in Donny, and so they pulled well clear. I just like the way he went around about his business that day, and he's a horse that I think has a bright future. He's currently trading at 21 on the exchange. So I'm going to look to back him in the win market at 21 for 25 quid. And we're going to look to back him in the traditional just 3 places market. And we're going to have 25 quid on him there as well. We're happy to be price takers in both of these markets. Like I said, anything can take a huge step forward here. It's a bit of a question mark about the Royal Ascot 2-year-olds. Having ran at the Royal meeting and their subsequent runs. So I'm happy to take Austrian Theory at the price.
Was that £25 win and £25 place, yeah?
Yes, please, yeah, in the traditional place market, 3 places.
4.8.
Okay, bit of a flyer then with Austrian Theory here for the Mark Johnson and Joe Fanning combination, of course, in those subjectivist silks as well. Nat, talk to us about Dabab. Obviously, the Ascot form. We've seen Go Bears go from the fillies. Of course, Sondrine followed up yesterday as well. Dabab was heavily backed at Ascot and was a bit unlucky.
Yeah, a bit unlucky. He was quite an expensive breeze-up purchase as well. He's got a lovely conformation, hasn't he? He's really nicely put together. He looks to be the type of horse that's just going to keep progressing throughout the season, which is obviously always likeable, isn't it? He just really looks that sort. Frankie on board, of course, beautifully bred, the son of No Nay Never. Found a bit of trouble, didn't he, like you say? Unlucky in the run-in. So plenty to like about Dabab, plenty to like. I was quite keen on Native Trail, though. I was really impressed with him at Sandown. Sorry, I threw my pen at you.
That's all right.
Back in June. Native Trail, he sort of got quicker as the race went on. And again, I love to see that. And when I'm watching replays, I really enjoy that because obviously he got into his race nicely, went a bit quicker. Yes, he lacks experience, so obviously that can be a bit of a negative.
It's always a positive for Charlie Appleby in this race, though. He's won this
because of what, three times in 5 years.
Yeah, and they were all once race novice winners, so it's very much his modus operandi.
Cleverly bought as well because I don't think he was the most expensive. So I am going to go in on Native Trail for me.
Okay, yeah, Native Trail. It was a bit of a slowly run event at Sandown, but yeah, I was hugely impressed with the way he went about it. As a speed figures man, I'm always going against myself here, saying that I do think he's got a big chance because I kind of went through the rest of the field, James, and I was picking holes in all of them.
Yeah, it's an interesting little contest. Now, Dabab, the key thing for me, Frankie didn't ride him at Royal Ascot.
Yeah.
Now, is he tricky? Frankie's on him today. We just got him on our screens now. They've arrived safely down at the start. But I did wonder at Royal Ascot, he was a bit fruity leaving the paddock, whether there was a reason that the Gosden team didn't put Frankie on it. And Frankie doesn't like riding dodgy ones.
I love that term, fruity.
Now he's got a little bit older. So he looks good at the start, looks nice and relaxed. He met trouble in running. He's probably better than what we saw. Won at Leicester. I can see why he's favourite. The Appleby team have a great record. I'm going to go for one that disappointed at the Royal Meeting. That's Masakela, who they expected better in the Cheshire. I mean, he only finished 5th. I think the ground was a bit too soft for him on that occasion. He did win on soft ground at Goodwood, but I think the son of El Kabir, based in the States, he's got lots of fast ground form, the Stallion. So I think going on a quicker surface might just see a much better effort. He has to really step up from what he did at Ascot. He was disappointing, but I liked the debut at Goodwood. And I just felt he can reverse the form with Great Max. And he's got a nice price. And I also agree with Barry, because Austrian Theory beats Private Signal quite nicely on debut, and they're very, very different prices today.
They are indeed, yeah. Private Signal again. Maybe that Appleby and Doyle factor maybe affecting how short that one is in comparison. A quick word for one I thought was a bit overpriced. What we were talking about, Cheshire form. Papa Cocktail finished behind New Science and Reach for the Moon on debut, and then I was really impressed with the way this horse quickened up at Haydock last time out. He beat some nice types. He beat Red Power, who runs later. He beat Al Shibley. I didn't think it was a bad little race. So it looks absolutely wide open here. I say it looks wide open, Barry. The market it's basically a 2-horse race, isn't it?
Yeah, the two at the head of the market, Dabab is 305 now and 385 Native Trail. Obviously, Dabab this morning was 315, so he hasn't. Both at the head of the market haven't deviated much. The only 2 horses currently trading in single figures outside of that Private Signal, 10-5, 13 Mascala, and 12 Great Max.
Yeah, is that a drift for Mr. McCann or a smash for Great Max? Just trying in terms of
18.5. Mr. McCann is a drift, and Great Max was 14 earlier on, so he's still in and around that.
He's a nice horse, Great Max. Third in the Cheshire, of course, Wootton Bassett, typical Wootton Bassett. My God, aren't they just gorgeous? He's actually one of my favourite sires, Wootton Bassett. I
hope you're right, because they're
I love it.
quite big in him.
but Wootton Bassett to Galileo Mares, I think it's very, very clever. I think it's a good business plan. I love it. You chinned it and a moose or Dari. Yeah, go honestly.
I'm going to use my millions and go with Wootton Bassett and Galileo Mares.
It's only €100,000 stud fee.
Only.
Nothing for Ross Brierley.
Let's get 4 or 5 then. Why not? While we're here.
Because we need the mares.
Well, we do need the mares.
You buy a Galileo mare. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'll have a go. We'll see. We could have a whip round at the end.
But he looks a really nice horse, Great Max.
Yeah, he does indeed. And I thought inexperience cost him a little bit. I thought at Ascot, James. He got going all too late.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Is he just perhaps not quite sharp enough when he started off at 6.5 at Newbury? that was as far as you could go at the time for the juveniles. He might just not be the quickest. The mare's by Umazane. He was obviously runner-up, was it 3 times in the Arc?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stamina on the dam side. You might just even need a little bit further already, so that would be my question mark for Great Max. Interesting, these top 2 are so strong, as though they are clearly head and shoulders above the opposition. And as long as Frankie can keep control of Dabab, that's going to be interesting to see how that one settles in the early stages. Yeah,
last 10 years, only one horse has won this after coming from Royal Ascot. That was Olympic Glory, who was chinned on the line in the Coventry and then came and won this. It is often a race that throws up an improving horse from left field. So let's see which way it goes then. Papa Cocktail going to be the last one forward. Just having a quick look at the market. Again, a bit of drift about Mr. McCann, a bit of late money for Private Signal. But they are ready for the Superlative Stakes and they're off and they're racing. A pretty level break. Maybe Native Trail just having to be roused along a little bit early on as they settle down. Will we get a true pace for pretty much the first time today? Great Max has completely changed tack and comes through to lead. But again, whether that's by accident or design, very keen behind those Private Signal. We've now got 2 groups. Private Signal is pulling for his head, Dabab on the far side, and then a bigger group here headed by Mr. McCann and Mott and the Messer. So again, as if Newmarket wasn't hard enough already, guys, they split into 2 groups here. Which one would you rather be in?
Well, you've had to change pink colours. Jack Mitchell's switched to the far side, which that was where our winner came in the previous contest. And they're a little bit ahead at the moment, Great Max, who's taken the field along.
Merge, will they?
Yeah, they're going to merge here as we try and find out who's going to come through with a winning challenge. The Bab settled quite well on the far side. Still Great Max in front, though. Native Trail going through a few gears. Again, it was a slowly run event last time. Here comes Papa Cocktail, travelling very strongly indeed. But don't rule out Dabab on the far side either, or Native Trail if you can get that gap. But it's still Great Max. Dabab on that far side rail. It worked for the for Royal Fleet, and it looks like it might well be working again as Dabab has hit the front and is going to be very hard to catch here. Native Trail is coming through late. Dabab from Native Trail and Great Max. These two are finding out. Native Trail is inexperienced, costing him a little bit. Is Dabab going to get home? Dabab out in front. Here comes Masakila from the back as well. Masakila, Dabab, Native Trail. Dabab screaming for the line. He's not going to get it. Here comes Native Trail and Masakila. Native Trail just gets it. Masakila back in second and Dabab ran out of juice. Native Trail. Charlie Appleby, 1 run, 1 win. Send it to the Superlative. It wins.
Second win.
There you go.
Can't tell you how exciting I find it.
You just need to, every time you fancy a Godolphin winner, Godolphin runner, it wins. We found your angle.
Oh, I don't think so. I just think... I know, I'm not playing.
I'm giving you a compliment here. You've tipped the winner in the Superlative.
Yeah, good. No, right, it's a beautiful horse. Very nice. And like you say, again, right attitude. The gap presented to him. Go again. You've got to rally, get your head down, get stuck in, and look, right, this is the best bit now. Get stuck in. Look, he really gets his stride extended. Yeah, that's a lovely performance.
Yeah, Native Trail then wins, beats Masakila and Dabab, who, Barry, would have gone very short there.
Yeah, the Bab traded at a low of 109, so 11 to 1 on for 423 quid. Masakela hit a low of even money for 671 quid.
Yeah, got beat.
Yeah, but that was a good shout from James Masakela.
Your winner, Native Trail, had a Betfair SP at 3.9. Trade at a high at 26, just for small money. More significant sums done at 22.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it looks like they're favouring that far side on the July course, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny one though, because they've come from all over the place, haven't they? The Bab's gone over the far side, Native Trail's come down the middle, Masakila's come down this near side. But again, it's tough to see it, James, because of that camera angle. They look.
Yeah, again, where the pace is. I suppose Great Max took the Bab along and left him in front a little bit too soon when that fell away. That could have not helped Frankie because he was kind of a little bit isolated when he went across to the far side. I think as long as you've got pace carrying you into it, and in a July Cup, there's a lot more pace high than what there is lower down, and that might just pay against the lower drawn horses in the big race later on today.
Yeah, absolutely. But and trainers are creatures of habit, aren't they? And Charlie Appleby, they must every year, James, have by this point, that's our Superlative horse, that's our Cheshire horse, that's our commentary horse, whatever it is. They're going to be aiming for the same races. They're not making it up as they go along, are they? No, and they've got a well-trodden path that they use. And Native Trail, he was impressive at Sandown, as this was the obvious opportunity 29 days later. And the stats speak for themselves. It keeps happening. Was it Cortado? Was one of their previous winners who was a very, very good 2-year-old. Unfortunately, we didn't see him. Sorry, Quarto. He won back in 2018.
Boynton didn't go on to do that well. Master of the Seas, he's had a relatively good campaign afterwards. So it's the well-worn path, and it works.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's won again. Charlie Appleby, Native Trail, Masakila and Debab. You're 1, 2, 3, 11 or 4 Native Trail, Masakila at 12-1 and Debab at 9-5. Anything to take out of this? The other one that must have traded a bit short, Barry, was Papa Cocktail, who came there halfway through. Probably the hottest part of the race, came there on the bridle. Maybe a slight misjudgment there, but he'll have gone a little bit short.
I think he traded around 6 or 8 in running. I just flashed through it, Ross, to be perfectly honest
He
with you.
switched the sides quite early on in the contest, and then in hindsight, which is always the wonderful thing, he would have been better off staying where the first 2 came from.
Yeah.
It kind of just, I say, didn't really use the energy in an efficient manner, and I think he's probably one to take out because there's quite a lot of late money for Papa Cocktail. He was the only one out of the non-top 2 that was really backed at a bit of a price. So, he might be the one going forward just to take out that contest, because I think Tom Clover, young trainer, he needs like a nice horse like that, and I think that will be one just to keep an eye on, better than what he showed today, I think.
Yeah. But again, with inexperienced trainers, they're we're saying your Applebees of this world have got the plan set out. If you're new to the game training, it doesn't matter who you've worked with, you're still going to have to learn it on your own terms, aren't you? You're still going to have to learn, what do we need to win this kind of race? What should we aim for? How do we unfold the whole season rather than just...
Yeah, well, I think you obviously need good horses, but I think...
Yeah, that helps,
I think you've got to get your eye in. And I honestly do think that just comes with experience and time. You just get your eye in with horses, that one for that one, that one for that one. And I think one of the hardest things for some young trainers is race planning. The reason I say that, I see it more in the jumps just because I've been interested in a few young trainers in the jumps. They're here, there and everywhere. It doesn't look like there's any flipping plan, sent down to it. It all can look a bit erratic sometimes. I think it's just getting the feel, and it's like anything in the world, you just learn with time and experience, don't you? And that's the only way you can do it. You can't just know everything straight away. No. Can't all be George Bowie, 'cause he's pretty good at race planning, isn't he?
He is, but again, you say about good horses, it does help when you've got hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of 2-year-olds.
It is the truth, because if you've got the firepower. But then look at...
No, I'm not saying he's not, I mean, he's very good, clearly.
Look at Dave Loughnane, though. He has done so well. He's such a good lad, and he's built it up. Yes, he's got a few nice ones now, Fionn and...
but he's earned it rather than
done well.
Thank you, yeah. And he's worked really hard, so it can work the other way as well.
Who does the race plan at Chateau Millman?
Yeah.
I give suggestions.
Yeah, you'd be quite good at that, I imagine.
Sometimes it gets ignored.
Yeah.
The problem is you've got to do also what your owners want. A lot of our owners like to have a nice day out at Salisbury. Yeah. Wonderful. But they're quite hard races to win at Salisbury. If you go to some of the smaller tracks, it's easier to win, but the owners don't particularly want to go to said track. And you've got to kind of cater for what your owner wants. So like, sometimes it's not always easy to say win races. They want to win races at nice places, and you've not got the quality to go to those nice tracks. It is hard.
Do you ever have to say to them, look, I know you want to win at Salisbury, but you're going to have to spend 40 grand more and buy it.
They go to Salisbury anyway and have a nice day.
Yeah.
But going back to Spurred, I did come second in the race. I beat the Bayou Doyle, beat the Godolphin, beat the Hannon horses. John Ryan's was the one that went and did me in the line, Silver Grecian. So that was that was annoying, but
you've got over it though.
12 years ago, still painful. It was the only group race I was ever going to get close to winning.
What were you on?
A little horse called Roy de Vitesse.
Oh yeah. You sold her, didn't you?
He went to Qatar and he kept going to us about 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally now the Appleby team, they do have a kind of like a set routine for these 2-year-olds, and it's clearly working, because once again the once raced horse has gone on to win.
Yeah. I mean, we're joking about the Wootton Bassett and your Galileo mares and whatnot, but is there a possibility that, like a lot of...
I wasn't joking.
No, we were joking that we might be able to do it.
You never know.
Well, unless you get that 8-timer up.
Yeah, let's get our 8-fold. Boom.
Yeah. In fact, producer Dan has had a speculative bet today. How's it going, Dan?
For a 3 from 4.
3 from 4 winners.
Clearly, you should be in my seat. To be honest, you should be sitting here with that kind of stats.
3 from 4 winners.
Been a tough day.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Well, I mean, we might not see Dan for dust after this. If what time's the last one running, Dan? About 4:30 or something. I mean, you potentially got 5-6 figure payout, and you don't know which one the last one is. But
1.3 mil
on the table, sure.
Fantastic stuff.
Barry, if the feed goes, it's because Dan's
Left the building.
Dan's quit. So,
Thanks for the heads up.
there you go. Yeah, we're off to Ascot next for the 3:35. We've got a big sprint handicap coming. But what's the one? Talking about not being able to get over it. What's the one ride that still sticks with you now? What's the one race that you think you still should have won?
To be fair, I don't think I should have won that race. I was just beaten by a better horse.
Yeah.
There's quite a few that I probably should have won. Shavansky, he ran in the Rip and Rolls, I think it was.
Yeah.
Stuck on the inside. And our old boss at William Hill is a Rip and regular, Ben Bramley, and he always brings it up every time I see him.
That's nice of him.
So he's always the Rip and faithful weren't happy.
Yeah.
But never mind. But like whenever you get beat, you always want to do something different, even if it
Win. That's
well, yeah, that is the aim. But if you come second, generally you've got to try and do something different the next time or whatever. But sometimes you're just not good enough. Maybe that's not good enough in the saddle, or the horse not good enough. Who knows? But now we're sat here and criticising everyone else.
Yeah. Are you? Because some people are a bit, shy to come forward and say, "Oh, that was the wrong decision."
What, themselves or about a jockey's decision?
I mean, a bit of both, really. But is it as a jockey that you're so open to criticism all the time that do you really need to heap it on anyone else or yourself?
So champion jockey Oisin Murphy, he rides for us quite a lot. He will come in and say, "I messed up. I should have won."
Yeah.
Or even when I actually disagree, and I think he's ridden it okay. Other jockeys, and I'll say like, "What were you doing that for?" They'll take it very, very badly, and they're different characters, and obviously no one wants to ever get criticised, but everyone makes mistakes. Like, I've not had a winner here today, so we all make mistakes. But
to be fair, there's still 48 races to go. So
how people take that kind of feedback, I suppose. But that's where Oisin, I think, is brilliant, because he will pinpoint where he's gone wrong and try and change that in the future. And I think that's why he is dual champion jockey and riding so well generally.
He's unbelievable. He's a unique personality.
Well, you don't get better by ignoring your mistakes, by pretending everything.
But he always holds his hands up, and he's a brilliant talker. He's very open. He's very honest, isn't he?
Absolutely. We've got a social comment here. Darren Walker, native trail 5-1 and Tilsit 5-1. Very happy. Be more happier if Dragon Symbol wins. He's on at 10-1.
Unlucky Darren.
Darren is having a good day. I think that's as soon as you said you hadn't tipped a winner, Darren thought.
Oh, well, I think Dragon Symbol is the one that's going to win the July Cup. So I think that's over. Kiss it goodbye, Darren.
I mean, seriously though, we have got what? How many races have we got left to cover? We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 5? Is it 5 races? I think we've got 5 races left to go. So
still time.
There's still plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
You can still end up.
Century Dream runner-up, World Norse runner-up. But Natalie is wiping the floor at the moment.
I need you to keep. I need you to keep going.
I'm not really. I've had 2 wins in a second.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour show without a break and 11 races. I can't have you losing faith. An hour left to go.
Gone.
So let's tip a winner at Ascot. No pressure. It's just a 5-furlong sprint handicap with 19 going to post, and show along significantly in Tis Marvellous, all vying for our favouritism here. A couple of 3-year-olds and a horse in Tis Marvellous, Barry, who has seen what show along and significantly has done and done it twice pretty much. So very different profiles at the top of the bedding.
Yeah, the 3-year-olds get £5 here from the older horses, and they significantly ahead in the market. 7.486 show along. Tis Marvellous 9. Whole rake of horses in there. Mondamege 11. Hurricane Ivor, very famous now. Hurricane Ivor is 12.0. 13.5 Boundless. Only Spoofing. That's been the springer in the market. 15.5. Haven't traded at 26. So that's probably the best back horse in the race so far, with Megan Nichols in the plate. It ran well in the dash, and then obviously Urban beat it in the Curra last day, but back over to the UK, should run well. Whole host of these with chances. The horse I like now, I must admit, was at the top of the market significantly for Clifford Lee. Obviously won the Palace of Holyrood at the festival, was drawn high that day, had the rail to run against. Has form in Hamilton, ties in with Dragon Symbol, and his form the time before that ties in with Creative Force, the Jersey winner. So wasn't winning out a turn, I suppose, in Ascot last day, and Back to same course and distance, drawn 8 this time round, mind, but we're just going to have 25 quid on Significantly at 7.6, and we're going to look to make a price here. We'll look to back them at around the 8.0, so looking to back them at 7-1, I think,
So
is a fair
8.0.
reflection. 7-1, yeah, 8.0. So I think that's a fair reflection of his chances. And we'll wait for someone to come in and hopefully lay us that bet. That'll go into the pink column, so we can update on that.
Okay, very well then. Significantly. The tip for Barry, they are down at the start at Ascot. Just hearing that sad news, really. Breaking news that superstar sire and racehorse Galileo has sadly passed away. We were saying earlier that he is the bloodline you want to be following and you want to be buying, and he has been pretty much the most significant horse.
Sad as well, isn't he?
Saddle as well, yeah. It has been. I mean, he is the key to our entire sport pretty much over the last couple of decades, and he is unfortunately sadly passed away.
Yeah, Cornwall just released a statement saying put to sleep earlier today on humane grounds owing to a chronic, non-responsive, debilitating injury to the left forefoot. And obviously, unfortunately, once you start getting issues when the horses get older, they have to be on all 4 feet at all times. And once you start getting something that does cause big problems, not an amount of money in the world can do anything about it.
Navicular or pedal bone, or you just can't.
It's very sad because he's literally been the Cornwall flag bearer and has basically won in the Derby, was it five or 6 times? With his offspring, he himself a Derby winner. And it's going to be a big loss to Cornwall.
Yeah, it's at the age of 23, I think it is.
1998.
Yeah,
He's had a good innings, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's been a nice little earner for them. I think it's fair to say, and the succession is in place now, I suppose. Well, the search has been on for quite some time, but Wooden Bassett's there.
We do wonder if
St.
that's
Marcus
the
Silica,
right one.
Camelot, Australia, who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's horses coming through.
It would be. We can all only dream of making an impact like Galileo did in the world. Absolutely. So sad news that Galileo, the superstar
It's
sire,
unexpected.
has passed away at the age of 23. We're going to move back to Ascot. We've got a sprint handicap here, a heritage handicap over 5 furlongs. We are going with Significantly for Barry's bet here, charity bet with the Royal Ascot winner, Carl Burke and Clifford Lee teaming up here.
Matched.
That form looks pretty good. I think we're matched with Significantly as well. James, I'm going to come to you here. We've got a huge field as ever at Ascot. They're going to split. They're going to bunch up. Where's the pace? Where do you want to be? What do you want to back?
Well, I want to back. I'm actually in agreement.
Stick with that.
Mundamedge. I put him up last time at Newcastle. He just got too far behind. Eltage Lab got first run on him at Newcastle, and I thought he ran an absolutely cracking race. He's got to behave in the stalls. He is absolutely crazy for Cam Hardy, but when he breaks relatively on terms, he can really pick up strongly. I think that stiff finish at Ascot's really going to suit him. 88 is a fair mark. He's got loads of form and some big handicaps. 4th in the dash, 3rd behind Copper Knight at York, and as we mentioned, a good second, ever 6 at Newcastle last time. So he's the one for me, very open. Tis Marvellous, give him a big shout out for Clive Cox, the old 7-year-old who's run such good races at Ascot's straight track for so long. I just wonder if age might be catching up with him. So Mundamedge, take a chance and see if he can finally get back in the winners' enclosure again.
Okay, Mundamedge then. It is. I hope you're wrong about Tis Marvellous. The handicap has given him a right old chance here. He's down to a mark of 101. Last time he raced off that mark was 2019. He was second to Kate Byron in the Wokingham. So he loves this track. And in theory, the high draw is very much a positive at Ascot. So I'm hoping that 17 box brings him into the mix. So Tis Marvellous win and place it would be for me, for Clive Cox and Kieran Schumacher. But you've tipped a few quirky horses today, and you're going for another one. Talking about Mundamedge there, he's got some ability, but he's got some thoughts as well about the game.
He has. I won't repeat obviously what James has said, but I've been on this show. This is my 3rd time on this show, and Mundamedge has ran all 3 times.
Yeah.
Hugely talented. We all know he can be flipping slow out the start, but what he does do is he can fly home late on.
Yep.
Hence why, of course, this looks absolute. If he's going to win a race, which he is, this looks the right race. This fits his profile. All over Mundamedge. I think Tis Marvellous has got a huge shout being a course specialist. Absolutely. The only thing is with Tis Marvellous, He ran well at Newbury in April. Why haven't we seen him since? Because
He was supposed to go for the Wokingham, but Clive took all
of
his
the
horses out because of the ground.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So he was ready to go at that point, so I wouldn't be too worried. Mondamedge is just absolutely destroying his groom, who's trying to put the blind on him.
I love Mondamedge. Honestly, he is such a beep. He's just, look at it, he's Larry. He's got the rug on, he won't have his hood on. He just pulls his head around. He's an absolute brute. I quite like that, though.
Good money for Mocktail here was 60 into 25 now, so that's crashing. Danzeno, the old warhorse, he's 20 from 29, and Count Dorsey 17 from 24. There's a couple being back worth talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a bit of money for Mocktail. Quite interesting. I thought, obviously, the Epsom Dash win was pretty impressive. Sandown didn't really work out for him. It was a bit of a funny race. It was, of course, that race that you mentioned, Barry, where both horses won, neither horse won. Something happened, whatever happened.
Don't show them a mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. But Hurricane Ivor comes back here for Haggis and Kingscote. Dead heated last time out. Maybe
the winner.
Mockatil, it didn't work out for him. This should work out for him a bit better.
No, but the dash just kind of popped up, didn't it?
Yeah.
It didn't really look like he was going into the race in great form, beating 9 lengths in his 2 previous outings, well behind Mondamedge at Ponty, beating 5 lengths. He just popped up. So Ian Williams, he does fantastic well, bearing in mind it's such a dual-purpose yard to win the fastest race in the country and then be winning 4-mile chases a few days later. He's in and out, but I suppose he was far too big a price, wasn't he, earlier on in the day?
He's raced once over course and distance, and he was 4th in the Windsor Castle. So he's raced twice over 6 furlongs here. It hasn't necessarily worked out, but that's no great surprise given what he's subsequently done over 5. Other ones to mention here, I guess we'd have to mention. What else we got? Only Spoofing, obviously.
He's done well since going back to Ireland, hasn't he? Only Spoofing.
Talk to us about Show Along. Sorry, that first folio race, that York race is working out very well, isn't it? Black Rod's in there, Bickerstaff. It looked a pretty competitive contest, that one.
Yep, and even going back to his start of the season, the tweet form at Thirst, that's worked out well. He beat First Company, who finally lost his maiden tag the other day. He's in good form. He's just going down to Ascot. How was he going to handle the track first time?
Yeah. Boundless Power could be a good each way.
Yeah, he's
striving for his new yard, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's got the right kind of run style. Again, Ascot, you often on this track you can't leave it too late, really, can you?
No, he should improve for the bigger field. Although he's only actually won a 5-runner and a 4-runner contest at Nottingham as 2 wins for this yard. So it's a very different test this afternoon. Callum Shepherd rides.
Okay, so we've still got about 6 or 7 to load in. So I'm just going to ask you for your selections again because we've talked about quite a few runners here. Tell us what you've backed, Barry, for the charity bet.
Significantly at 8.0.
Okay, significantly it is then for Barry. James?
Mondamedge for me, he's in the stalls.
Mondamedge and Nat?
Mondamedge.
Mondamedge it is.
Come on the mesh.
Come on the mesh. And I'm going to go for Tis Marvellous and hope that Clive Cox has a sprint double today. I think he has a squeak.
Oh, we're getting a big price later on, are we?
Yeah, I think he's got a bit of a squeak. When Supremacy won last year, I thought...
Blinkers.
July Cup, perfect. Blinkers, yeah. Which is
interesting.
Has worked well for Clive Cox.
High draw as well.
Yeah, where all the paces in theory. Let's hope Tis Marvellous runs a nice race here. And
he's one of Clive's favourites as well, Tis Marvellous. I think he's basically a stable pet now. He's been there a long time, and I mean a lot. I think Clive to get him back in the winners' enclosure at Ascot, like I say, a track he absolutely loves.
Yeah, and again, we've seen a few horses, haven't we? Century Dreams of this world and the Fajera Princes. Our entire sport is geared around 2 or 3-year-olds, but 7-year-old, they're not over the hill, are they?
No.
But people...
I suppose the top end is the breeding empire is geared towards your younger horses, but then you get your old favourites. We got a great one in the John Smiths, the Thunder Plate winner.
Yeah.
Was he 9 years old?
Nicholas T, yeah.
And he's going from 2 mile to mile and a quarter, and you wouldn't be surprised if Jim Goldie did it again, like he does with Yukon Glen.
Absolutely.
So a good one can keep going for quite a while.
Yeah, as long as they're sound,
as long as they're right,
they want to do it, they will last a fair time.
Okay, right. Oh, I'm hoping my commentary voice holds out by the July Cup at this rate, with 19 of them going to post here. Quick market check as they do in Ascot and take their time here, Barry.
Yeah, significantly favoured at 8.0. 8.8 is Marvellous. 8.4 Mondamedge. 10.5 Show Along. 12.5 Boundless Power. 22 Only Spoofing. 24 Macnan.
Thank you very much, my good man. Nelson Gay is the one who's making life a bit difficult down at the start for handlers. I think we've still got another couple out the back as well. This is going to be fast and furious. Where's the pace going to come from here, guys? What have we got that's going to...
all over the track, wasn't it?
Significantly, hopefully it'll be the pace.
Yeah, he did kick a long way out, didn't he? Well, Ascot, they're off. And they're racing away then for this 3:35. Are they going to split? We saw you really didn't want to be down the middle for most of Royal Ascot. So let's see where they're going to go. Yeah, significantly coming over from that middle draw and going to the ones at the far side on the...
Show Along's handy on the other
we've got
side.
Show Along. We've got also Nomadic Empire. We've got a few groups: Danzino, Hurricane Ivor, Count D'Orsay, Zargan, and also in there is Mackinac down this near side significantly. Sunday Sovereign. We've also got Mockatil, who's travelling very well. Tis Marvellous as well. Ostilio is in there. Mondamege on the bridle as he always is. Hurricane Ivor's on the bridle on the other side as well. Tis Marvellous looking for a gap and has a chance significantly in the front. Here comes the core specialist Tis Marvellous over on that far side. Show Along, and we've also got Nomadic Empire. Tis Marvellous significantly down this near side. I'm trying to pick out the sticks. I think it's Nelson Gay. Tis Marvellous. Mondamege, here it comes, but significantly still out in front. Mondamege.
Come on.
Significantly Mondamege over on that far side.
Come
We've
on.
also I can't even see what it is. What is on the far side? I think it's Hurricane Ivor on the far side.
Not quite got there, Natalie, again.
Fed up with this horse.
Yeah, apologies for that. The camera angle was completely throw me asunder there. And I think there's Hurricane Ivor involved in another photo here. Who has got it? Hurricane Ivor all
That
significantly.
head carriage is not good on the significantly, but he might just have done enough.
I think
in
he's
the
won again,
centre.
hasn't he?
Yeah.
Hurricane Ivor has had quite the week, but
Barry the man.
significantly, I think, has landed the bet there, Barry. And he doesn't make life
Yeah,
easy
he's
for himself.
101 in the photo. He's 101 in the photo. He was drawn 8. He came right across to the stand side and he finishes up in the middle of the tracks. You can maybe even mark him up for that win. Hurricane Ivor was second. I don't know what the results called, but he's 101 in the photo significantly. Just looking at the still there, it looks like he's
won there on the slow-mo. Mondamé, he just doesn't get going in time, does he?
I'm absolutely fed up of him.
I mean, he's been beaten a neck there.
He's run an absolute cracker, but it's just frustrating. Tis Marvellous. To be fair, we've really got that spot on 3 of the first 4.
Yeah.
I put a rock up his bum.
Yeah, to be fair, apart from Hurricane Ivor, we've had we've tipped 3 horses between us, and we've had first, third, and fourth. So that said, I was going to say
the main man, though. Barry's got it spot on.
Yeah, well done, Barry.
Hurricane Ivor, he's done that nicely, really. In fact, he's well clear of all the other horses on his side. He's picked up nicely. The other trio are racing a fair way from him. So he's a little bit unlucky, I think, the runner-up, bearing in mind, what's he put? 4 lengths to the ones on his side?
Oh, yeah, got it close.
I mean, bearing in mind this horse took 8 races to get off the mark as a 2-year-old and was called all sorts of names.
Well, he wouldn't win a maiden, would he? No. He ran really good races in some strong 2-year-old contests, and they gave him winnable races. He'd blow to start with 5 lengths. He'd do everything he could not to win. Now he's handed 2 cracking races at Ascot.
Absolutely, significantly.
It can change.
Your winner there, Barry. Talk to us about the market, because as they were crossing the line, there was about, Mondamege significantly and Hurricane Ivor were all around the even money mark. It was a bit chaotic in the end.
Yeah, 136. Hurricane Ivor traded at as short as 136. 160 Mondamege. Tis Marvellous trade at 2.12 with typical sprint handicap, Ross, as you fully know. A host of them trading relatively short in the run, but is the result true? Yeah.
It's not through on my screen yet, no. But I mean, are we going to have more photo drama?
Photo drama with Sir Ivor.
He's got his head, yeah, it's cool.
It's come up on the screen. There we go. Yeah.
It's called excellent.
Yeah, very tight indeed.
That's
though.
another 175 for the charity. So we're winning about 600 quid for the charity.
Not a bad day there, Barry. Not a bad day. We still need to know what the charity is yet. We haven't decided what it is, but it's in the pot. Whoever it is, we will decide. But yeah, significantly your winner, Hurricane Ivor, Mondamege, and Tis Marvellous then at Ascot. And
it goes quickly, doesn't it?
I mean, that race, that finish seemed to take forever in my brain.
I couldn't even see the horses. I don't know how you call it. To be honest, I was looking at the screen like.
That's right. Well, we'll get you to call the next one. You can do the July Cup. But for us next, it's the Bunbury Cup over at Newmarket. What a race we've got in prospect here. 7 furlongs.
I like this race.
It's a cracker, isn't it? It's always a good handicap. It always attracts a really nice field, and we've got some very progressive horses here, headed by Amethyst now. I think, in fact, Amethyst not favourite now, Perotto favourite. But Amethyst, Perotto, Fundamental and Motokael. Again, all favourites, all vying for favouritism at single figures here, Barry. A typically open handicap, but the likes of Amethyst and now in particular, quite a bit of late money for last year's winner, Motokael.
Yeah, into 7.6 now, Motokael. But the Britannia winner, Perotto, heads to market 6.4. Very, very strong at that. 7.4 Amethyst. Fundamental in the same ownership, 6.6. 7.4 Motokael, and it's they're the only horses in single figures. 11.5 Bardem. I'm going to throw 2 darts here, please, James.
Yep.
We're going to have 25 quid on both of them. Fundamental, who was 5th in the Jersey. Creative Force drifted across him a bit, but he was the best of the far side after the winner. He gave £5 to Belosa in Newmarket the time before that in the listed race. I thought that was a good run. And Kimmy 5 for Joe Chute and Kieran Fallon, 6th in this race last year. Absolutely luckless in running. He raced off 92 then. He's 91 now. You can't miss him. He's a big white face, Ross, and 2 white socks out front, so he'll be easy to pick out.
Is that 25 as well, and Kimmy 5?
25 as well, yeah, 25 on both of them. Happy to be a price taker here as well. Obviously, a very difficult race that's split into 2 groups, and it's wherever the pace is, probably the far side. But they're two big. Well, one of them's a big price. Fundamental, not that big a price. He's 7, but the other one, Kimmy 5, is 33 to 1. So happy just to throw 2 of them.
Nicely done, thanks, Barry. Hopefully the luck will continue. But yeah, I mean, normally, if we're doing 11 races, 160 runners, I mean, if you were a commentator, you'd split it with somebody else, wouldn't you? You'd have, or at least, at the very least, you've had a spot.
You are excellent at doing it, Roscoe. You carry on. You keep going.
Yeah, you definitely split it. Maybe between
me and
3
James.
commentators and you have 2 pundits, but I can't help you out. Sorry,
yeah, we'll
James.
See. We'll see how it goes. But they are down at the start, loading in for the Bunbury Cup here. Amethyst, Perotto, Fundamental, Motokael, and Symbolise. All shorty enough. I think Symbolise has got a big chance here as well for Andrew Balding, Ossian Murphy. I thought this horse just hit the front at the wrong time behind Highfield Princess. It's on the far side. It's about a furlong out, and a little bit like we saw in that last Ascot race, they can get a little bit isolated. I thought Symbolise won a big race, and this is a winnable contest, I think, for him. And Highfield Princess, of course, won a listed race since. The form looks good, so Symbolise for me. Nat, what wins the Bunbury Cup? You said you're a fan of the race. I expect the winner.
Symbolise and Boardman. We've got 2
same race.
Darts here. Well, you said, but Symbolise done nothing wrong. To be fair, comes from a good trials race too. Andrew Baldwin's in good form, as we've seen. He goes on varying ground, which I thought is quite a nice horse to have around. He's good price as well. What is he now? I think I got.
He's 12.5 to back.
Yeah, good.
At the moment, yeah.
So Symbolise has got a huge shout, and I've always been a big fan of Boardman. So 3 wins came in May, held at Royal Ascot. That didn't go quite right. Took a really keen hold that day under David Allen and raced onto the far side. Today, Rob Hornby's on board. I just think there's a little bit more to come from Boardman.
I watched it because I might have to do a little bit of savour on him because it's the same form and he was over on the far side as well. And I watched it back and I thought, you know what, he's actually run really well.
I know, yeah.
Despite the fact he's finished heavily beaten, he's finished 4th or 5th in that group, and it was his first real taste of those proper Ascot handicaps. So. I think he's got a bit of a sweet
big fan
ball,
of Tim Easterby as well. So if
he's
I'm
just
allowed
had a winner
to,
over at York, he's in cracking nick.
Yep, Symbolise and Boardman.
I think in a race like this, James, I mean, if you're not having
allowed to
between 2 or 8 picks, come on, let's.
I'd like 8 to be honest, but I agree with Boardman. I think each way price, I think he's got a cracking chance because he's really progressive since switching to the Easterby's yard. I say you can forgive a horse a below par run at Ascot, and as you say, he didn't run that bad, finishing mid-div in a bit of a messy race. You got Shine So Bright's going to make the run in from still 6, so maybe that gives the low numbers a bit of a pace to drag him in, because I do like last year's winner, Motokael. Frankie Dettori's on board. Jim's obviously gone. Another meeting today after York where he had a winner. He's just a really consistent individual. He beat Sabuska last year, so we've seen what Sabuska's gone on to do. That was a good effort of 105. He is £4 higher, but I think he probably deserves the £4 rise. He won by 3/4 of a length. Good second behind Glorious Journey. He runs in the July Cup, 40 minutes after this contest. So yeah, I'm going to stick with him, still free. He's been solid in the market, and the Hannon team have had a good July meeting so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I did, because I thought he was a little bit interesting. Horses rated 109 or higher in handicaps over 7 furlongs, 0 from 54 in the past
No, it's
12 years.
not a great start.
I mean, there's not that many of them would try, obviously, but I did think Tabarak and Oh This Is Us both fit that criteria and finished second in big handicaps for the Hannon team as well. So they're probably, there's not many yards who would actually have many horses that do that.
Yeah, normally once you're in that kind of rating band, you stick in group and listed races, and the only reason they're running in a handicap is because they're probably out of form and you're trying to get a bit of spark back into them. But it's hard given way to progressive horses, and that's like Perotto. I'm a little bit worried by the Southern. I thought he hit the line.
Yeah.
I know he was tying up, but I thought over Southern at Goodwood, and he just got up in time. So I think the mile really saw him to good effect at Ascot. And against, it's a 7 furlong specialist race. I remember mine back in the day. This was a race that he always farmed. And Mutakael, I think he is that true 7 furlong specialist that you got in this contest.
And he's also a proper course specialist as well. We're talking about, it's a tricky track to run or ride. He's, what's that, Newmarket now 3 times.
First time he got beat was by Glorious Journey, and that was probably nearly a career best anyway. So it was no disgrace in losing out on that occasion.
Absolutely. So Motakael then for James, who is he was challenging for favouritism. That's now gone clear to Perotto. Let's have a quick word on Amethyst, who we'll have to mention. £6 penalty. I mean, we're talking about horses leaving it late. This horse, I can't tell either. He's got so much ability that he's doing a bit of a Usain Bolt and thinking I'm going to make as life difficult as possible, or he might well improve for an extra furlong. But he's not really looked like he was going to win his last 2 races, and yeah, he has done. So the handicapper hasn't been able to be too harsh on him. Form let down a little bit by No Nonsense earlier in the week.
He's a bit in and out in the No Nonsense.
Yeah. Ironically named because it actually probably is a bit of no nonsense.
Yeah, he's not the most straightforward. All his form's at Southern. So it's cracking there for this race, which, like I say, it is that specialist distance. He beat Loda Showgirl when he won his first maiden. She went on to win at Royal Ascot, and he's just kept on improving as he's gone. He does make life difficult, but I suppose that's why he's pretty well handicapped still, I suppose. Yeah. Although the handicap wouldn't actually put him off 96. I think he's a little bit badly in.
The only race he's not won was won by Hakiki, so,
Yeah, and he still finished third on debut on firm ground at Yarmouth. So he's an interesting horse. He's short enough in a very, very competitive handicap, whereas Mutakael, he's been there, done that.
Yeah.
Just got to give him that £13.
Bit of late money for Jumeirah Bay as well, who I thought quickened up beautifully at Chelmsford, but and a bit like significantly, Jumeirah Bay took ages to get off the mark. Won a bad Chepstow novice.
2-1 on. He struggled to win at 2-1 on as well. It wasn't a comfortable watch. I think I was at Chepstow that occasion. Owen Walsh probably had a little bit of a bit concerned that he wasn't going to get the job done.
So what's changed Jumeirah Bay? Because he looked like a completely different horse. I guess it's the gelding, isn't it?
It does help him concentrate the mind a little bit.
Okay, loading in then here. Any late moves we should know about, Barry?
Well, really, the market's pretty mature at the head. 6.2 Perotto, Amethyst 667.2, both fundamental, and Mutakael symbolise out to 12. Jumeirah Bay out to 12.5. Boardman, there had been some money for that. That's back out to 20. Kimmy 5.30, and Lord Rapscallion, he's an interesting one. Ex-Johnny Murta horse. He could pop up into a place here at a big price. He's currently trading at 40.
Caribana, a non-runner here as well. So Caribana does not go here for the Bunbury Cup. Nat, anyone more you want to mention as to go in? Obviously, this is a huge field.
It is a huge field. Yep, with you on Jumeirah Bay. I think it's got a real good squeak in this. A risky each way bet could be Ropey Guest. Chop and changes distances here, there and everywhere. Just ahead of Boardman in the Wokingham, short price that day, never really got going. With a guaranteed pace, he could be up his street with a squeak of an each way. So I'd be cross if I didn't mention Ropey Guest.
Well, he's another one who runs the track really well. I mean, he's never won here, but fourth, third, second. And I mean...
And in good races as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this meeting last year, he was running behind Alsa Hale and Mystery Power. So... This is a lot easier than that's for sure. We've just seen Halsdale hit the frame in the Summer Mile. So, last few going forward then here for this Bunbury Cup 2021. It is wide open as ever. Perotto is a tough nut to crack at the top of the betting though. He's won over 7. He's won over a mile. Will he get the hat trick here for Marcus Tregoning? Last one in for the Bunbury Cup. Where are they going to go? And where is that pace going to come from? Will it be Shine So Bright on the near side?
No,
or will
he's
it be on the
held
far
up.
side? No, he's missed the kick. So who's going to make the pace then here? The Bunbury Cup, they're going to split. Where are they going to go? Proto a bit keen, suggesting they're not going much of a clip here. On a session on the far side is the pace angle, and Motta Kyle down this near side with Lord Rapscallion. But
I didn't expect that, but no one wanted to make it.
I think a lot of the jockeys here, James, are looking at each other going, I thought you were making it, mate.
Yeah, and Frankie's now taking a pull. Lord Rapscallion is the one who's gone on the stand side. But yeah, no obvious pace angle. Shine So Bright out the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And on a session is leading on that far side. Motta Kyle is tracking Lord Rapscallion. Shine So Bright has missed the kick. Amethyst in the white cap is down this near side. Fundamental down the middle of the track. Jumeirah Bay travelling well that far side. Barry, anything happening in the market for you?
9.2 per out of 4.8 Muta Cahill. So in running, and Amethyst is currently 4.5. They're heading the market, so they're merging.
Frankie's in the right place.
Motta Kyle travelling very well. Boardman travelling very well. Symbolize has got a chance. On a session's kicked on the far side. Jumeirah Bay, if he can find, will have a chance as well. Lord Rapscallion, here comes Fundamental down the middle of the track. Motta Kyle, last year's winner though, is battling on. Symbolize. Jumeirah Bay, ropey guest. We mentioned him over on that far side, and he's got to have a chance. But Motta Kyle down this near side, I think the camera angle's thrown us again because he's got this race sewn up, hasn't he? Motta Kyle has gone to win very easily indeed under hands and heels. Group race back down to handicap. You're always looking for a group horse in a handicap. You had one. He's bolted up. He beats Fundamental into second place, and Motta Kyle has waltzed home there and lumps a huge weight to victory. James, you were saying you hadn't tipped a winner.
I was going to go out the door, and we finally got one.
And that was an emphatic winner.
Absolutely.
Well done.
And I think it was, again, Frankie popped him out. Yes, he did take a lead, but he didn't drag him right back through the field. And you want to be on the front end. Lord Rapscallion, well done to his rider, Holly Doyle. She went from the front, and that's given him third place. Shine So Bright has flown home for some reason. Why he was held up at the back, I don't know.
Yeah, because he's come from last to fourth.
He's the one you upgrade.
Yeah.
I'll say Frankie was looking around for him, couldn't find him. Holly led in the end, but yeah, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, Motta Kyle has Walter. I know it's a handicap, obviously, so it's not an obvious form boost, but Glorious Journey beat this horse last time out pretty comfortably and goes for the July Cup later on.
Yeah, well, good for him both, really, to win a handicap of 109 by 4 lengths.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we complain jumps flat, the whole thing about why don't good horses carry big weights in handicaps? And then Motta Kyle goes and does it.
And just shows up.
Bolts up. We were talking about the camera angle, Barry. I mean, I was looking at the race and I was looking at the market and I was thinking someone somewhere has got a better angle than me because Motta Kyle was well clear.
Yeah, he never traded bigger than his pre-race price of 14. He had a Betfair SP of 6.81. He was always up in the van, wasn't he? He didn't trade much shorter than that. The only real in-running story was Fundamental, who traded at 2.5. So 6-4 for Fundamental. But yeah, he's taken it up. How far out was it when he took it up? It was all over when he hit the front. There was nothing coming from behind. Even the likes of Lord Rapscallion traded at a high of 15 in running, and that led them to the 2 furlong pole, you know. So once he took it up the 2 furlong pole, it was all over. Fundamental kind of looked for a minute. I'd say that's where he traded at 6-4, just at the 2 furlong pole. But when he gave him the office, then it was all over.
Yeah, Motta Kyle. Yeah, it must have been a good furlong and a half from home. He had the race wrapped up pretty much, James.
Yeah, like I say, if you're travelling nicely on the front end, you've always got every chance. And a horse that absolutely loves the place. The only defeat was to Glorious Journey. Frankie's kicked. The rest of them actually, what have we got, about 8 in a line for 3rd and 4th place. He has just absolutely destroyed him. He might well be back off a mark of 112 or something like that again next year because clearly he can carry big weights.
Yeah, Motta Kyle then very impressive indeed.
I do think today though, like what I've taken from today so far is they all seem so keen. No one's. I don't like it when they split like that, and you almost like watch 2 races. There's so many horses being held. It all looks a bit scruffy. It all looks a bit scratchy. I prefer to see it.
Well, it's a jockey's nightmare. They're told get cover.
Yeah, but then they're all,
and you're running a 20-runner handicap, and you're like, there's pace. There's going to be pace, and the only one we saw pace, Shine So Bright, misses it and doesn't go on.
Yeah.
Your jockeys are looking a little bit confused. Where do you go?
Absolutely, yeah. It's been, we've got loads of races. They're all very good handicaps, class group races and listed races. But yeah, quite a few of them have been a bit frustrating.
It just looks a bit sketchy to me. And I think, yes, they've got to get cover, but then there's getting cover, and then it's detrimental to the race because the horse has done enough and it's never going to win.
Everyone's
to be honest with you, yeah.
Everyone's looking for that cover that isn't really there because the pace is a little bit false. But Motta Kyle wins. SPs aren't through from Newmarket, but if you backed the Hannon runner, you're in no danger. He's absolutely bolted up over at Newmarket for the Bunbury Cup. We've gone from one red-hot handicap to another here. Will we see a winner as easy as that last one? Well, let's find out, because it's a wide-open John Smith's Cup, as ever. 65 grand on the table to the winner. Just over a mile and a quarter to go. Again, two horses dominating the betting here, Surrey Pride and Astro King. Sir Michael Stout and Joseph Tweet. They're very different careers for those two. But Astro King, they did this with Ballet Concerto a few years ago at Barry, and the market is very positive about Sir Michael Stout's runner here.
Yes, he was 6.4. He's 5.9 now. He's strong at the head of the market. He really bumped into one in real world in the Hunt Cup, unfortunately for his supporters. And stepping up to a mile 2 here, they raced him over a mile 2 before, and he went off at odds on and he got beaten. Now you could put that down to the ground maybe that day. As a 3-year-old, I don't know. I was going to take him on, but at the price, I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to sit out this race. There's a couple of horses that have been backed in at Surrey Pride, obviously 10.5 into 6.0. Bright Start, there was money for that as well at 21. And Straits of Hormuz, who gets in at the bottom, he was 46. He's over half the price. He's into 20 now, Straits of Hormuz. He's one to watch out for. But yeah, I'm a big Astro King fan. I backed him anti-post for a right touch in the Royal Hunt Cup. Like I say, he bumped into one that day. So I'm going to just watch this race.
Yeah, you were unlucky there, winning his side.
He was winning your side is the worst thing at Royal Ascot, isn't it? I think it happened to me about 3 times all week, and no.
It was the fact that nobody wanted to be the other side of the track.
Yes, yeah.
that did him as well. That's what. Well, I didn't.
And it was when that camera angle changed. You're just like, oh, come on.
The winner was such an easy winner, wasn't he? Like he looks a really smart prospect. The winner. I'm interested to see where they go next with him, but he absolutely danced in. He's won 4 lengths on a bad side.
Yeah.
Although he had a bit of pace to aim at. There was another Godolphin horse over that side that was setting decent fractions, but there was the breaks. Look,
Barry, I'm just saying that it'd be nice to get paid out if you win your side, but I'll take half the odds. I'll take half the odds.
It's something I'd put forward to the product guys. Yeah, it's an interesting concept. There have to be a certain number in each group.
Yeah, you got to specific because obviously you just get like one solo in the centre.
Yeah, you get that one fella saying, "Oh, I'm going over to stand side by myself here."
that's fair enough. Yeah, if you've got a 20 runner race and 19 that come this near side and one goes right, I'm gonna.
Yeah, because you cop your bet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you'd have to have, I reckon, at least a quarter of the fields in the other group. That's my look.
It's an interesting concept, honestly, because it's like bookmakers are always looking for stuff like that. Like when you look at football now, Ross, the win, draw, win historically was always the big market. It's not anymore. It's same game multiples. It's like there to be a many corners in a match, there to be someone to score, certain yellow card, player to get sent off. It's all those. So we're always looking at stuff like that within horse racing, that you could have almost the same game multiple within a horse race. And that is something that, it's not a bad suggestion as playing the sky as it sounds.
In, Roscoe.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I just want to say this is it is my intellectual property. I was.
Let's establish that early doors.
Yeah, absolutely. But some sort of win your side, get your money back kind of thing would be. I mean, Motorcade, what was on the far side there? And again,
Ropey Guess was quite high up on his side as such.
So this is what I mean. There'd be loads. I mean, can we introduce it pre-Royal Ascot so I can get my money on Dig 2? That's all I'm asking. Anyway, let's go to York. John Smith's Cup here. We've got a wide open race. Obviously, Barry, you want to take Astro King on, but maybe the market not necessarily benefiting that angle. So, Nat, it's an absolute corker.
It is.
They shouldn't split into 2 groups at least.
Oh, that just annoys me. That does. I love Astro King.
Yeah.
Real world, like we said before. Stall 14's not ideal, but I'm a massive fan of jockey PJ McDonald. In the preliminaries, Astro King looks lovely and calm, really relaxed. Like to see that. I can't not mention Nicholas T because I'm going to kick myself because I didn't mention him last time.
Jim Goldie.
Jim Goldie, I love his quote. If they go an honest pace, he's got a big shout, but he's really thriving, isn't he? Amy Wharf on at York. Who's on today? I've forgotten now. I've got myself in.
Same jockey.
Ben Robinson. Sorry, Ben Robinson. Nicholas T. Surrey Pride though. Goodness me, what a turn of foot! Tremendous change of gear that could just be very useful late on. So tactically interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so what's the
So
play?
I'm going to go Astro King.
Yeah,
Just the one.
Yeah, just the one.
one.
the one.
Hey.
Just
The
one.
confidence is there.
That's it, absolutely. Why not? Astro King it is. I fancied a couple here. I fancied Our Day to run a big race. I think dropping back in trip. That flying solo form over this trip is absolutely one-proof. And I say I'm going to two more. I've had a little bit... I mean, I'm not just putting one up here. I'm going for Ascension. I think the step-up in trip will really help him. And I've had a little bit on Winter Reprise, so Winter Reprise.
Oh, yeah, I've heard, yeah.
I think this horse looks quite well handicapped for a shrewd trainer
A
off
few
98.
tips, actually.
Well, they've run him in pattern races, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's not his first time back in a handicap, and the handicapper didn't put him up at all, 98.
Well, his last run at Deauville, he was well clear of a horse called Teston, who finished 9th that day, and then his next run, he got chinned on the line off mark of 97. So I think 98 looks workable. Mr. Millman, how many do you want?
Just the one.
Just the one.
Uh,
It works for the Bunbury.
A day for me.
Yeah.
We had a runner in against him and Rodrigo Diaz when he beat him by 4.5 lengths at Newmarket, and he nearly wasn't declared because the ground was going to turn too soft. Heavy ground at Royal Ascot would not have suited him at all. I think he only ran because it was Royal Ascot. So the fact he finished 5th to quick four, and you absolutely loved the conditions, so that was a good effort. Stall 22, you got Surrey Pride in stall 24. I remember when Master Carpenter won, he was drawing 1, and everyone said what a bad draw it was because all the high draws were coming across and slotting in, and it was a bad draw. Ever since then, those drawn low-ish have tended to be favoured in the John Smith. So that is the only worry. He's going to be stuck wide, and the conditioner and the apprentice rider Mark Crayon. But I think he's very well handicapped off 100. I think he's a classy individual.
Yeah, since Master Carpenter, well, it's been mixed bag. 14, 11, 3, 6, 7. So it's not wherever you want, I guess. There's not been any extreme.
No,
draws.
it used to be like a little bit like the Ascot, because
Yeah.
going into the race, I think one of our old colleagues, Rory DeLergue, was like, no chance from stall 1 because they really literally...
2014, Farage won it from, he was drawn 22 of 16, so
Yeah.
he was so wide.
He had that advantage. But it's interesting. It's hopefully becoming a little bit more fairer. But if they don't go quick, you want to be pretty handy. We've seen that at York so far today.
Absolutely. Okay, Our Day, has a big chance then for Simon Crisford. Yeah, just a bit of money. There is a bit of money for Ascension. I think this horse is interesting, Ascension. The Roger Varian Atzini team here, breeding suggests that they've been running over the wrong trip consistently. The Dam won a Lister race at Newcastle over 10 furlongs, related to mile-and-a-half performance as well. I think he will improve for that step up in trip. There's been a bit of money for him as well. Barry, as the last few go in, has there been anything moving and shaking in the market?
Straits of Hormuz continues to attract support into 17.5 now. At the head of the market, Astro King and Surrey Pride, literally inseparable at 5.6 each at 2. Lucander is 14, some money for that as well. But the market's suggesting that the Astro King and Surrey Pride are very hard to depose.
Yeah, very much so. They are solid as a rock at the top of the betting. There it is, Astro King. Yeah, Bala Concerto, of course, he stepped up from a mile, didn't he? Won this and then stepped back down to win group contests over that mile trip. So, again, we've just seen in the Bunbury Cup a group horse in a handicap. Will we see another one here in the John Smith's Cup? They're ready. And will we see a decent pace? That's the big question. They're off and they're racing away then over at York. Pretty level break from the lot of them. Maybe... at the back, Ade just a little bit
not
sluggish.
travelling very well in the early stages. If you backed my selection there, and Surrey's
Find a
also
good position though, aren't they? That's the problem. And again, they're not going a mad gallop out in front. So the ones out in back are trying to find some sort of space. In front, it is Cockalorum who has come through to lead a very modest gallop. The ones in behind are pulling repeatedly. Fishable's got a nice position on that wide outside. On the inside of him is Bright Star. Behind those, very keen, is Al Zara Khan. He's wide, and also Johnny Drama. Trying to see the others. What's the story? Hasn't really settled. Astro King has settled quite well.
He's
Winter
not
Reprise.
a bad position, actually, in the centre.
Yeah, he's okay. He's not too bad at all. Ade going to have to come from last.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be struggling. Nicholas T, he wanted a strong pace. He's pulling, and bearing in mind he was in the Northumberland Plate last time.
That's it. Northumberland
No, he's
Plate. The next three home were all on the speed, so it doesn't necessarily work out like that. But Barry, has anything shortened up here? How's the market reacted?
Just Astro King from that wide draw. He seemed to get across nicely, and he seems to be travelling really well. He's into 11 to 4 now, 3.4, 5-3 Surrey Pride, and nothing really outside of that. One that seems to be attracting some support, Al Zarakan. or maybe not.
Not surprising given how keen he was early on. But they're racing now. Cockalorum has kicked. Fishable's got a chance. On that far side, Winter Reprise is coming in with a chance for David Menuisier. Here comes Johnny Drama. Astro King, Lucander in behind those as well. Our Day has a lot of running to do. And somebody has unfortunately gone wrong and pulled up. Winter Reprise on that far side. Johnny Drama, Cockalorum, Fishable down this near side. Yeah, Johnny Drama and Good Birthday, in fact, throwing down a challenge as well. Fishable, Good Birthday. Trying to weave a passage straight off Hormuz. Has every chance coming through with a challenge as well. Cockalorum still out in front. Good Birthday and Johnny Drama are throwing down chances, but it is Cockalorum. Here comes straight of Hormuz on that far side as well. Dawar with a chance straight of Hormuz, throwing it down. Johnny Drama straight of Hormuz and Cockalorum straight of Hormuz and Johnny Drama. And it looks like it might well just be Johnny Drama.
Oh yeah, the one we mentioned.
I think Johnny Drama has stuck his neck out, and a horse who spent a lot of his career refusing to stick his neck out, I think has got the job done there in the John Smith's Cup. But again, it was an unsatisfactory pace, James.
I absolutely walked around and I knew my money had gone the minute the stall was open. The day had dropped right at the back of the field. First string, absolutely delighted on our winner, who, like you say, he looked tricky. The weather kind of saw him back in a bit of a rich vein of form. Joshua Bryan, who not claiming in the race. He's just ridden out his claim. Fantastic ride. He's got him home in front. 133 days since we last saw him in the Winter Derby.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, like I said, he went through about 2 seasons. He just wouldn't win. He would run in all the big races, and he never really put his head down. Then he, like you said, over the winter changed his tune a little bit. But I still thought that maybe Straight of Hormuz might pull out the spoils there. But it was a very tight finish. It was so tight, Barry. I mean, they're about 3-1 on the both of them as they crossed the line. In fact, Straight Hormuz might not even got second. It might have been Cockalorum.
Yeah, it's interesting that Johnny Drama, if he has one, he didn't trade any shorter than 1.42, which is 2 to 5. So you know yourself, Ross, that gives you an indication. Rare. Yeah, it's very rare. It'll give you an indication of how tight it really is. Straight of a Moose trade at a low 1.40. I thought if he didn't win, he was definitely second. But you think Cockalorum could be challenging for second place? He traded at a low of 3.0, so 2 to 1 for 100 and odd quid.
Okay, yeah, very, very tight finish there indeed.
Well, he got an easy lead, Cockalorum. No one challenged him at all. It was literally hacked round in a 3 furlong sprint.
How have we had a race like this or a day like this with all these races, and I could count maybe one where we've had a genuine true gallop?
Genuine pace, yeah. I know it's been very disappointing, hasn't it? In that respect, you've seen horses pull their chances away,
but I'm amazed more connections aren't. If you've got one that's a 25 to 1 shot, like Lord Rapscallion, we saw him in the Bunbury Cup. In a sprint, you ain't going to win, so you might as well take a chance and be positive. Yes, that they might well get caught. But when Master Carpenter won it, he sat second. Killarney made the running, and they were first and second. And at York, if you're on the front end, you're giving yourself a little bit of a squeak. Whereas a Day, he had a bad jaw, but he was a little bit slow to stride. But dropping him in right at the back of the field, you ran over a mile and a half last time. Yeah. You've got no hope whatsoever. And
I couldn't agree more. I can't tell you how frustrated I am. So I was trying to say before, they're all holding them up, socking them around. It's really annoying me. You've got to give them a chance. You can't just do that in these huge fields. It's not going to work.
I mean,
it ain't going to work.
Bearing in mind Johnny Drama's drawn 1, Cockalorum's drawn 3, for example. Obviously, it's much easier to do that.
Yeah, well,
you draw on that inside
rail.
Johnny
Drama's perfect. Like Master Carpenter, you tell your jockey, pop him out and sit where he's happy, and when one comes across you then there nicely. If you want cover from a wide draw, you then have to kind of hook to the back. But some horses do need cover; they're going to be too keen otherwise. But not 21 of those needed cover.
This is taking a biscuit.
So what do you do as a jockey? So you draw on 22. There's no early pace. Do you just gun it from the word go and you just cross over?
Just send them on and get in.
Yeah,
because
give them a chance.
If there wasn't much pace on paper, you know at some point you're going to be able to get in relatively well.
Yeah.
The problem is that trainers don't always look at it in depth and say, "Oh, sit in the first 5 or 6 but get cover." And when everyone's told to sit in that position, they all can't sit there.
Yeah.
And they're all looking around, all trying to find some cover, like the Bunbury Cup. And yeah, Frankie let one go past. You just don't want to be too far away. And
I mean, bearing in mind the wealth of talent in the saddle is in that race, and I'm not deriding the jockeys involved in the finish, but of all the big names, you had Joshua Bryan, Rowan Scott, and Thor Hammer Hansen fighting it out, and you've got jockeys with decades of experience who have been, I'm not necessarily outridden, but certainly they found themselves in the wrong spot.
PJ McDonald got Asher King into the right place. He didn't pick up.
He didn't pick up
which
at
is
all.
surprising for a horse who's got all the mile form. It should have played to his strengths as such. But yeah, a lot of them that were drawn out wide. I'm surprised Moore didn't take a chance and just sit a bit handy, especially amongst the outsiders. Ascension, you put that one up. That was absolutely pulling like a train. Probably wanted cover because it was stepping up in trip, but you gotta give yourself a chance.
Most of the running at Newbury as well, so it's not like it's not.
Yeah, no.
No, but PJ put Asher King in a very, very good position. Even that, when he just didn't pick up. But horses like watch replay Nicholas T. I know we didn't hit the frame, but he's a massive horse. Remember the massive long stride, yakking and holding and keeping. He just gets frustrated. If he just needs to go, I think he would have possibly maybe hit the frame if just left a bit more free. But I know it's not. Look, I've never ridden in a race, and I do ride horses daily, but I couldn't. I'm not trying to criticise.
If it was that easy,
Ben Robinson, because he is a very, very nice guy. I'm just saying, it looked to me, Nicholas T was running on a bit.
Yeah.
If you
with him, we kind of knew in the pre-race quotes. Jim Guy said if they go slow, we've got no chance.
Exactly. He already. Yeah, he quoted that. Yeah.
Johnny Drama then wins at 22-1. Cockalorum did get back up for second, remarkably, at 40. Straight of Horn was 14s, and Dawam at 14s, back in fourth place. Dawam never even sighted until it finished fourth. It's been that kind of day. Good luck if you've found some winners today. We've found a couple in the studio. We've still got a couple of top races to come though, and we'll be back very shortly. We've got an absolute cracker of a July Cup coming up in about 10 minutes. Go then. Feature race of the day on the agenda next, the July Cup, and we have an absolute blinder of a lineup. 19 of them going to post. Will there be any pace? Will it be a dawdle? Who knows? On paper, a lot of that pace is drawn high, though, but the market is very much with those drawn low. Creative Force, Dragon Symbol, Starman, all dominating the betting here, and all drawn in single figures. Oxted, last year's winner, is the only other one at single figures here. And again, it's been a pretty frustrating day, Barry. And again, I'm looking at this, and like I said, all the pace I could find was drawn in double figures, yet the market very much a low drawn affair.
Yeah, Art Power drawn 17, Supremacy drawn 19. I suppose you're going to see plenty of pace from them. But Creative Force is your favourite at the moment, the Jersey winner, along with Starman. It's 6.0, each of those two. Dragon Symbol, 6.2. 7.2, Oxted Roan is 11. 14, Art Power, and 32 Bar. So I think we're going to get a result here, and I want to be a layer at the head of the market, but not Creative Force. I want to lay Dragon Symbol, I want to lay Starman, and I want to lay last year's winner, Oxted, who did me a right turn in the King's Stand. But I'm going to take the three of them on. What I'm going to do here is, if you select all three of those horses, please, and put in, we're looking to take 25 quid at the backer stake.
So that's Dragon Symbol, Starman, and Oxted, yeah?
Correct, yeah. And we're looking to take 25 quid at the backer stake out of all three. So we'll have a liability ranging from around 80 quid up to around 110 odd quid on the three of them. Everything else wins us 75 quid in the race. So at the moment we're looking at, I thought Creative Force could go well, and I'm going to give a big shout out to Miss Amulet for Ken Condon, who it obviously didn't happen for her in the Irish 1,000 guineas on heavy ground. They had her in the Commonwealth Cup. Again, the ground turned out heavy, but you go back to some of her 2-year-old form. She beat Sacred in the Lowther over 6 furlongs. She was second to Alcohol Free in the Cheveley Park, and she was third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile in Keelan. She's a really, really nice type. I like Ken Condon when he brings his horses over, and I've backed her at a big price each way in the win and place market. So I fancy us getting a result here. Hopefully it'll be Miss Amulet, but laying those Dragon Symbol, Starman and Oxted.
Okay, then, taking a few on at the head of the betting. I mean, like I said, it's a cracking lineup. We've got the winners of the Kingstown, the Wokingham, first past the post in the Commonwealth Cup, the winner of the Jersey, the Duke of York, last year's Middle Park, the Chip Chase, the Champion
Dream of
Sprint.
Dreams is probably the only horse missing, is he, Ross?
Yeah, shame
Yeah,
he's
and I
got
guess
that injury.
Campanelle, if you wanted to throw her in as well. But yeah, Dream of Dreams is the obvious one. You would think surely you're going to go for the July Cup. You've got pretty much every other sprinter in training turning up here, and I hope it's a satisfactory run race because it has been incredibly frustrating today. But in terms of actual overall ability and quality, who is your selection in the race?
I've really struggled to split the two with Dragon Symbol and Creative Force. I've made all these flipping different notes and I can argue this way. I find it impossible. I literally don't know how to split them. I love Creative Force, won the Jersey Stakes last time. He's bags of pace and he travels well. And what I like about Creative Force is he picks up. And what we're talking about, what we've seen today, when we haven't seen any pace, to be able to pick up might be quite handy today. Yep. And Dragon Symbol's a very fast improving sprinter, isn't he? He's been really impressive. So yeah, I like them both. Oh my goodness, if I really have to pick one, I'd probably go Creative Force.
I think you can have to. They're not huge prices, but it's a tough race.
It is a tough race. It is a tough race. And
You're going the forecast.
First,
I'm not doing another one. It's broken my confidence.
You chose like the most difficult race to forecast with
I know.
outsiders. Now
Stupid, wasn't it?
It was a confident selection, that's for sure. Okay. So here's me going, you know what, I'm going to play it safe and back it at 1.9 to finish in the 4. And you went forecast.
Because imagine if it had pulled off.
I know, but imagination doesn't pay the bills.
Oh, my husband says that. It's so real.
Well, there we go. I mean, apparently I'm detached from reality, James. So
You are. A different world. Anyway.
Reality's overrated, mate. What was the July
It
Cup?
probably is. I'm going Dragon Symbol. Oisin said he wants decent ground, so the fact that he's put up 2 cracking efforts on heavy ground, just beaten by Rohan, when I think things have fallen better, more experience, he would have beaten Rohan, and then obviously he was first past the post. I think he was the best horse, but rightfully disqualified for taking Frankie across the track. Better ground should suit. We've got the pace angles. Good effort is the only real natural out-and-out front runner. He's officially one shot, much better on Neil Weather, whereas drawn high, Glenn Shield from 14, he's going to be handy. You'd imagine Supremacy, if he travels in blinkers, he's going to be handy. Miss Amulet...
Art Power maybe as well, doesn't...
Yeah, there's loads more pace there, but I think Dragon Symbol's quite uncomplicated, and I think Oisin will just let him bowl along. He doesn't have to have cover, whereas Creative Force is always getting a lead, and Starman tends to be a little bit in behind. So I think of those drawn low that are heading the market, I think Dragon Symbol is the most uncomplicated, and he's the one that will probably benefit most if there is only the one front runner, I suppose, good effort on his side.
Carey Skates has got in touch, social comments. Who are you backing in today's July Cup? Oxted in the big one wins 11.5. I mean, we're talking forecast was difficult enough. Let's predict the winning distance as well. And Neil Dawkins says Miss Amulet each way July Cup. So Barry, you've got a supporter there in the shape of Neil Dawkins. Other ones to mention. Quick word for I mean, Barry, we're talking about what's the best sprinter in train. I mean, the controversy about Rohan not being able to run in the Group 1 and then bolting up in the Wokingham. Are we ignoring him at our peril?
Yeah, I think we probably are. He's a horse that's been underestimated all his career, isn't he? And obviously he's gelding, he can't run the dirty rules, and so be it. But yeah, if he was maybe with a more fashionable yard, he'd be a shorter price. But I think the Wokingham winners have a terrible record in this race, and I don't know whether any of them have been as good as him. For a 3-year-old, he looks an outstanding prospect. But yeah, I think he'll run his race, but this is such a warm race, isn't it?
The dips would be my little worry of Rohan. He had one run on the Rody Mile, Creative Force thrashed him. He won that handicap nicely. I think they were nearly... He gave £6 to Creative Force, but he's beaten 4 lengths, and his wins are kind of Ascot, flat track, Haydock, flat track, all weather, flat tracks.
And that suit that late closing style as well.
He's a credit, 55. What a remarkable rise, but that'd be my concern with Rohan.
Absolutely. Let's have a look who else we're backing at home. Chris Timms, Dragon Symbol to banish the memories of Ascot. I mean, the only winner I had that week was Dragon Symbol, and he got demoted, so the memories are still there. The amount of... we need to bring that win the aside in, Barry. We need to bring... What a week it would have been if we had that consolation.
If only.
Absolutely. I think, I would have been. You would have gone from 0 to about 5. Other horses mentioned. I mean, so I'm going to talk about Supremacy. We need to talk about when this horse won the middle part last year. I thought, okay, there's an obvious route for him next season, and I don't necessarily think that Ascot is his track. I mean, it was a bad run, obviously, last time out, but it's subsequently been shown to be much better than it was with Rohan beating him. And blinkers on first time. Clive Cox, I crunched a few numbers. 15 from 92, 16% strike rate, plus 30 quid. He did it with lethal force. He popped first time blinkers on. That horse won the Hungerford with the headgear on for the first time. So
that's a good point, because my concern with the blinker angle and the fact he's so weak in the market is that at home he's not working very well.
Yeah.
Because
he's incredibly weak in the market. In fact, he's gone
for last year's champion 2-year-old.
Yeah.
He's come back. He's come last. There's no real. His bloods was slightly wrong.
Yeah.
There wasn't like he was lame the next day. And he's got blinkers on.
This season might end up being a bit of a.
He could just be a Memas that hasn't trained on.
Yeah.
But if he does, because he's a front runner, we've seen it on the front end at Newmarket when he beat Lucky Vega. He got rocking and rolling under Adam Kirby.
Yeah.
So I can certainly see a reason. Why is he such a big price?
Sure.
I think
might be. I'm trying to see if he's not boiling over down at the start with the blinkers on or anything. But we've got to mention Chill.
You just read my brain.
There you go.
Because
it's a terrifying place now.
It's so
get lost
terrifying.
there, right?
You don't want to go in there. It's like Labyrinth gone with some other funky stuff going in. I love her. She was fantastic last time. She's got a chance, hasn't she? I don't see Chill beating Dragon Symbol or Creative Force, but I'd like to have a little bit of money on her to hit the frame because she comes here in great confidence.
She's another Newmarket horse as well. She loves the track.
Stop! He's in my brain now.
it's just, the notes are there.
In my brain. In fact, I just think he's looking over at my. No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. That'd be my each way. Would be Chill. Yeah, she was very good last time, and she showed a good attitude, didn't she? She rallied. She was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
63. She started handicapping as well. Her and Rohan, two that have improved, nearly double their initial marks.
I mean, what is she? She's 5. When she's in good form, I can see why she's out relatively quickly. Like when she's like this, run her. Try and keep.
Yeah, why
getting
not?
Some prize money, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Because when they're in good form, these mares, they're in good form.
Absolutely, yeah.
Starman just going in. I really liked him for the Diamond Jubilee. Obviously, the ground when he was withdrawn. I just think the 3-year-olds are that much stronger. I thought it was going to be a really weak sprint division to start off with. He impressed me at York immensely. Didn't see him obviously at Ascot. This is just it's a fantastic July Cup and it's great. I think the Commonwealth Cup has strengthened that 3-year-old sprint division because they won 4 of the last 6 July Cups, and it's just an absolutely cracking renewal. And I'll share your sentiments. Hopefully, it's not a messy one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, hopefully we do have pace on across the track, although on paper I don't necessarily. Other horse to mention, Art Power again keeps banging his head against the brick wall, but he'll get there eventually. And he's another one who rise through the ranks, isn't he? Extravagant Kid stayed over here as well. Glenn Shield at the age of 7, I'm sure. He'll be back to Ascot at the back end of the season, but what a huge run, glorious journey. He's just had his form franked as well. Bigger prices, Summergand and Brando, who runs pretty much every single time there's a group sprint available to him. The 2021 July Cup, they're off and they are racing. Level break for the lot of them. What is going to happen pace-wise? They are into 3 groups. Sure, why not? Mix it up. Rohan makes a bid for the middle as over on that far side Supremacy with those blinkers, unsurprisingly, does go on to take it up with Art Power. So it's Art Power and Supremacy on the far side, good effort on the near side, and down the middle, it looks like Glen Shield is the pace. So this is, if it wasn't tricky enough already, James...
Well, far side are probably ahead. Art Power and Supremacy, they're well clear of the middle pack. Glen Shield was 3 lengths down. Good effort leading stand side. They're all well spread out at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. They're all over the track. How's the market reacting, Barry?
At the moment, Dragon Symbol, your favourite at 6 to 4. Looks like that's coming right into it.
Is he going to hang again today?
Art Power and Supremacy fighting on that far side. What's going to come down the near side? Glen Shield here comes. Rohan from the back as well. Has every chance down the middle. But that camera angle, again. Dragon Symbol. Art Power still fighting. Rohan coming through as well. Garrus running on. Here comes Starman rattling home from the back. Art Power in front of Starman. Glen Shield. Starman is eating up the ground. Art Power is screaming out for it. But Starman has claimed him down the middle. Starman, Dragon Symbol and Oxted. In fact, that camera angle has done us again. Starman has won pretty cosily in the end. He's come from God knows where to win the July Cup, straight down the centre of the track, and he's got a big win on the table. His trainer Ed Walker said that he was a Group 1 horse, and he's proved it there. Dragon Symbol fans beaten again down this near side. Oxted and Art Power has run a blinder on that far side, but it all changed in that final furlong.
I think the form makes sense, though.
Yep.
The right horses are there. He looked good at York.
Yep.
He's proved it. He's beaten Oxted, similar kind of distance. He's actually pulled further clear. Dragon Symbol, he hung right in that lost in the Commonwealth Cup. He's hung right again, and whether there's a slight issue there, because he was in the middle of the pack, and O'Sheen's obviously got off Starman. That would have been one of his rides to ride Dragon Symbol again. And that horse, he's a machine. He's a fantastic individual. Well done to Ed Walker and his team.
Yeah, he's only had a couple behind.
He got badly chopped up as well.
They've got racing a long way out. Tell us a story, Barry. As, again, the camera angle has scuppered us a little bit because it looked like it was tight across the track, and the near side have ended up dominating. Yeah,
Dragon Symbol traded at a low 1.62, which is 13 to 8 on. Oxted traded at a low of 2.20. Art Power traded at a low of 3.4, which is 5 to 2. Rohan traded at a low of 7.4. But Art Power, when he was coming up the far side, 3.4 he traded at. He stuck it out well, didn't he? He's ran a cracker.
He's had no one to race with Art Power. Supremacy's dropped away. He's run a cracker. Glen Show in the middle, he went softer ground. He's run well. Like all the main sprint lines, they've all come to the fore. Creative Force probably not quite as good at this trip. He hasn't quite got there in time. So I think we've actually had a fair result. They are spread out across the track, but like I say, it all makes sense. And I don't think I've got any excuses really. I think they've all had clear runs. Best horses won.
I mean, we're talking about jockey decision. Big shout out to Kieran Fallon. Oxted drawn 16. He's made an executive decision that he doesn't want to.
He's covered a lot. He has covered a lot of ground, hasn't he? Actually,
this has been my favourite race to watch all day.
Yeah.
The horses, in my opinion, he's a bit excited to see Starman. Bless him. Yeah, he won.
Absolutely, that is. Yeah, Tom Marquardt.
He was excited, wasn't he? That'll be painful. Yeah, they were all actually allowed
advertising his
to
future
gallop.
Credentials across the line.
That's just what I like to see. Necks out, go in. No, not that. Just kick.
Right.
That was my favourite race. That was great.
Yeah, it was. It was an absolute cracking finish, and it was a proper. It was a truly run race as well. All the right horses coming to the fore. I mean, Barry, it was. Can we excuse anything? I mean, they've all run big races. All the right horses have been in there, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have. I think it's a race that I think the form's going to stack up out of it. Like you say, with all the right horses there. You the last year's winner who's ran his race, Dragon Symbols ran his race again. He looks a little bit quirky. Creative Force probably wants to step back up in trip. I don't think we'll see him over the 6 again. Rohan as thereabouts. So it's really going to stack up as the season progresses, and it looks like we've a new star in Starman. Someone asked me to put the double up. Kane to score any time in the European Cup or in the European Championships final, and Starman to win that, and that came in at 16 to 1. So there's a few people knocking around having had that double, so they'll be cheering on Harry Kane tomorrow. Wow,
that is of all the bets to conjure up, why not? I guess, but Starman. His one and only defeat obviously came in that bad ground run at Ascot.
Too big a test, jump up, and obviously they took him out. I'm just annoyed because I had him as my nap at the Royal Ascot. I just thought that 3-year-old form was stronger. And then in the end, Oxted's shown that the 4-year-old and up are still pretty strong. But I didn't realise how far Oxted, that either the track estate or on him, he has to have covered a lot of ground to even, if he stayed centre and just followed Glen Shield, you've got to have lost a couple of lengths going across. So,
yeah. We're talking about jockeys making executive decisions, and obviously Kieran Fallon's going, I don't want to be, I think the best horses are here. So he's made that decision, hasn't he? Even if it's not worked out.
Yeah, he's made that decision.
And at least he's made the decision. And it's got to be so quick, surely. I mean, you've just got, boom, second.
Yeah.
if that, to make the decision. So then you've got to commit, haven't you?
You've got to commit, yeah. And Rohan, for example, made that decision. And over on the far side,
A lot of power kept straight.
run.
He's run a cracker. He
Yeah,
keeps
he's run
running these
brilliant.
races, just falling short.
Creative Force wasn't beating that far to finish. Sure, he wasn't.
No, 7 furlong. He's
He's
back up to 7.
He's ran a cracker. Yeah,
He's finished. I think he's finished 5th, hasn't he, in the end?
looks like it.
Yeah. So again, the right horses in the right places. It was.
Yeah, like Creative Force is ahead of Glenn Shields, who won the sprint in the Champions Day last year. You know, so maybe he is worth a try back at that trip again.
Yeah. Yeah, but, I mean, given that Creative Force proven himself on soft ground last time as well, and you know the champion sprint might well give him a chance to turn that form around. Hopefully, they'll all
They keep going.
turn up.
Not say it's a strong division.
Got Haydock, of course, as well. So it's a really interesting division, isn't
Betfair
it?
Sprint Cup. I was
Yeah.
waiting for you to mention that.
There you go,
Ross,
Barry.
the Betfair Sprint Cup, get it in there. I wondered if we get a quote for it. No, not yet.
And you imagine that,
7-2 from 6 for the Sprint Cup, the winner, and Art Power 8 from 14 for the Nunthorpe.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's all. I mean, again, because there's been some criticism, hasn't there? Quite rightly so, I guess, of the sprinting division. But we've just been saying, and also the miling division a bit. We're saying we've got a Sussex Stakes to conjure with in a few weeks, and the sprinting division's really hotting up.
We've got quite a few old ones that are coming back again. I'll say Glenn Shield, he's run a cracker on ground too quick.
Yeah.
Soft ground Champions Day, or even soft ground at Haydock. We just got chinned by Dream of Dreams last year for the Betfair Sprint Cup. There's lots to look forward to in that division for the rest of the campaign. So it's not one. Starman's good, but if it comes soft, he probably isn't going to run. And then it opens it all up to a whole host of horses. And like I say, Oxted, they might still think if things fall better, he can get much closer anyway. So like I say, fantastic race that was.
It was.
Yeah, it was. It was great.
Yeah, after an afternoon of fairly
Enjoyed
frustrating
myself.
contest. Well, I'm glad. Well, we've still got
It
one
was
to
worth
go.
coming just for that.
It was worth going just for that July Cup, which is good because it's a feature race. That's what we want. Next up, though, we've got more sprinters, the City Wall Stakes, and form lines that we've just seen franked down in grade here. Winter Power heading the betting here for Tim Easterby and David Allen. Moss Gill, Kea Moro, Dakota Gold, and Urban Beat, all single figures. Obviously, we've got a bit of King's Stand form in here, Barry, with Kea Moro and Winter Power, who I think they went off so fast in the King's Stand they nearly lapped themselves. It was insane. But this is a track that's much more suitable to that kind of tactic, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And just at the moment, the betting, one non-runner here, Bedford Flower, which there was a few quid for earlier on today, is a non-runner. 3.6 Winter Power, Muskill 4.6, 7 Kea Moro, who's an absolute flying machine over the first couple of furlongs. Dakota Gold, it takes a while to, takes a couple of runs just to get firing, is 6.6. Urban Beat 8. And that's what I fancy. And I think Johnny Murtagh's horse Urban Beat that won the Rockingham last day will be thereabouts. There's loads of pace on here, obviously, and I think he'll benefit from that. He was a 2-length winner of the Rockingham off 102. That was on Good to Firm. He made all on the stand side almost by himself. And I think he'll come on as well for that run, rolling, wheeling in the plate. So we're just going to have 25 quid win on him. We're winning 600 quid for the charity, so that's banked. And 25 quid win Urban Beat in the at 8. So
Yeah,
wins is 175 quid, yeah. Excellent.
Okay, very well. Urban Beat, it is the selection. And Johnny Murtagh, Sonny Boy Listen, ran a nice race earlier on. Urban Beat comes into this off that Curragh win and has every squeak. But he's up against some proper York horses here, Nat.
Yeah, I quite fancy Urban Beat, actually. Yep. Obviously, that form in a big field of handicap recently comes here with momentum, which is always a nice sign. Moss Gill, I'm a big fan of Moss Gill, but Moss Gill sort of stole my heart a bit at Haydock because they connections were, the Van Cuts was, I don't really think it's going to like the ground. And then so, when I say slow out the stalls, honestly, it was just couldn't be any worse. So I remember being in the paddock and never mind. And my God, did he rally back? And I think, what was it, a bloody neck or just he didn't
got beaten in the neck by King's
Didn't
Lynn.
get beaten by far at all by King's Lynn.
And given how badly he started, that was a big run.
It was a terrific run. Love Kea Moro, but just worried just that one run. And then Winter Power, but 3-year-olds are like 1 from 22 in this race. They haven't got very statistically. But then Winter Power could just be good enough.
Yeah.
So I've covered 3 of them there.
So what's the pick?
I like Moss Gill, but I'm also warm on Urban Beat.
Okay.
I'll stick with Moss Gill.
I think everyone in the studio is singing from the same hymn sheet here. I think we're all Moss Gill fans, are we not?
Just hope he gets out of the stalls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'd be a nice in-running bet. If you see him within a couple of lengths after a furlong, I think he's your winner because we've got so much pace on. Winter Power, interesting to me, Dave Allen's 2 from 2 on the filly.
Yeah.
The fractions that she went at Royal Ascot were tremendously fast. So at York, you can probably keep going a little bit longer. But KMR is not going to give her much of an easy time once again. Dakota Gold, he might just need it first run back.
You've got ones in 3, ones in 9, haven't
They
you?
are
So again,
apart a little bit. But on the 5 here, El Astronaute, you let him rip. You just go. So as long as Musgrave can just keep in touch, he's the one for me. But he's got to hit the lids.
Yeah.
He can't afford to miss it today.
It was bad at Haydock.
yeah, it was pretty bad.
You're just like, oh no, but fair. He rallied back.
We've also got Dakota Gold as well, whose season will no doubt be aimed towards an autumn campaign. He is that kind of horse, but I mean he's better than this class, isn't he? He quite simply is.
Yeah. Excellent record here.
Yeah, loves the track, and also and Tarbouche, who is another horse who likes York. So we've got a lot of York specialists in here, and El
Paul Ridgely's
Astronaut.
good with his sprinters as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Paul is good.
Yeah, he's in pretty good nick. And El Astronaut, who beat King's Lynn, King's Lynn form, obviously tying in with the King's Stand and also the Wokingham. So again, the sprint division is pretty hot at the moment. But Winter Power heading the betting here for the Easterby team, who've just been
I wonder
denied.
why the jockey's off Snazzy Jazzy. Why is Callum Rodriguez not on board? Someone's just leading Snazzy Jazzy around. I think we're just getting excited.
He might just be one to go in the stalls.
and jump on.
Perhaps El Astronaute, he's got his own still hand around the back from the Weatherford team. Just back to Dakota Gold. In his last 5 starts at York, the only horse to beat him, Starman.
Wow.
There you go.
But just the first run after a break, he was only 5th at El Astronaute last year, 5th at Newcastle in his 2019 return, 7th in his 2018 return, and 2017 he did win. That was off 79.
And to be fair, the only time that was the only time he started off at York. So
Okay, yeah.
So again, if he is a York horse, maybe he will be ready to go today. So yeah, again, fascinating race, an absolutely cracking sprint on paper. We've got El Astronaut as well, which we mentioned. We've just seen Safe Voyage win earlier on. We didn't cover that race, but Safe Voyage obviously in the same connections, won at Chester, and El Astronaut, like you're saying, it is marvellous, but also horses in your stable, that these are the ones that keep you going for years and years, aren't they?
Yeah, and you know what he's going to do, Chester.
Yep.
Out and gone. And he's run well in Nunthorpe on a few occasions at a huge price. Can't quite last it in the better grade. But yeah, it's a cracking race. And these actually are, I think with the July Cup being so strong, none of them have even bothered trying to stretch out over the 6. Moskill tried it in Dubai, didn't really work out for him. These are the proper out and out British Nunthorpe as such, if you take away Patash.
Yeah, absolutely. Going behind them for the City Wall Stakes here at York. I don't know what the restrictions are, but I'm sure they've got a nice crowd there today. Saturday at York. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it 4,000?
I think it's still 4,000.
It's still 4,000 at the moment.
It wasn't the football and tennis are kind of being exempt events. But
Which at least makes it feel like a little bit busier, because obviously got the Mowing Shandon Bar there, and then absolutely, I think
that's where
where
Natalie's
I go.
at York.
That's where I spend all my winnings.
Yeah, all your forecast winnings.
Moet, actually, there's Moet and Shandon.
Jesus has been back in touch.
Jesus says Dakota Gold bolts up.
God,
How did Jesus get on earlier? I can't remember.
I think Jesus got beat.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry.
So lots of love for Dakota Gold then.
Yeah.
fresh
Barry,
angle,
quick update on the market. Dakota Gold, love on the tips, but not in the market.
No, 8 to 9 now. Dakota Gold 3.5 Winter Power, which is 5 to 2. Moss Gill 4-2, 6-2. Q and More. Urban Beat steady away at 8, and it's 33 bar.
Right, last race of Super Shattered Saturday. I think it would be my new term for it. It's been quite the afternoon.
Oh, come on, Moss Gill. Don't be doing any funny business.
I think
It's doing a girth trip. He's just a bit.
Because you were talking his antics up, I think he's showing off again a little bit down at the.
That is the worry. If
Yeah,
you
but I
are
don't wanna
taking
see
this.
this.
We're not sure. Lord's taking him second favourite.
Oh, he's. Oh, yeah.
I've seen some horses at York though be like 5 lengths tailed off and rattled home to finish in
Yeah,
the
but
frame.
you just want to see him going in.
It'd be nice, yeah. So we've still got Mosgiel to go in. We've still got another one out the back as well, but we are focusing on Mosgiel, so I'm not entirely sure which one that is. Barry, how you holding up? Have you you got through the day just about? Profitable day for you.
Very profitable.
Yeah, it's been all right for the charity, thankfully. It's been good. It's one of those days, isn't it? It's 11 races. It's a lot to get through. It's more about the preparation, really. It's like 2 days. Looking 48-hour decks. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
we did it when it was just the 24-hour decks, but 48-hour decks, is a gift, isn't it?
Absolutely. When Johnny Drama won the John Smiths, I was like, you get to the point where you can't go through every possible horse, can you? Dakota Gold also bucking and kicking. He's saying, I don't need your help. I know exactly where I'm going. And he's kicked the stump.
Oh, he looks fit as a flea, though.
He's upsetting all the others now.
Yeah, that's great. Just get in.
This is what we need, isn't it? 11 races, last race off. But he just bolts in there now. And we're off and racing for the City of Wall Stakes. And Mosgiel has got out nicely on terms. Snazzy Jazzy was the slowest one out. And we said there was going to be loads of early pace. And they're trying not to take each other on. It always happens, doesn't it? El Astronaut now being challenged by Winter Power. First Company, Kea Moro, Dakota Gold, and Mosgiel, Snazzy Jazzy out the back with Lahore. But there was a bit of a stuttering start there. But Winter Power has got into her normal space out in front. El Astronaut, First Company, Dakota Gold down this near side. Kea Moro being taken out of her comfort zone a little bit. Winter Power still in front on the bridle. Urban Beat looking for a gap. Dakota Gold, Mosgiel looking for a gap to run on late. Still Winter Power has not been passed though. Dakota Gold at his favourite trap. Mosgiel rattling home as well. Winter Power, here comes Mosgiel to throw down a chance. Winter Power has got this race by the scruff of the neck though. Urban Beat and Mosgiel throwing down a challenge. But again, a lovely ride. David Allen now 3 from 3 on Winter Power as Mosgiel comes through late to bag second. Those quirks just costing Mosgiel perhaps, but Winter Power down in grade has won that fairly comfortably. And again, Barry, won't it be much of an in-running story, led for pretty much 4.5 furlongs, and the rest of them got in each other's way.
Yeah, it didn't develop the way we thought it was going to develop. I can't believe Kiyomura didn't burst out. 3.1 for 11 quid. Mosgiel traded at a low of. Urban Beat, who came with a bit of a run, traded a low of 3.15, a little over 2 to 1. That's really it, to tell you the honest to God truth. There's not much after that. Ross, it was a spluttering end to the day, let's say.
Yeah, and Winter Power, obviously, who went way too quick out in Ascot. That was much more like it. You were saying talking about jockeys and.
Well, Kiyomura there, they both went too fast at Royal Ascot.
Yeah.
Kiyomura said, look, we're not going to do that today. They've taken a pull. El Astronaut hasn't actually gone on like he normally does. And in the end, Dave Allen's taken a pull and still had a 2-length lead. And I think if you back Mosgiel, you kind of knew after a furlong, yes, he was a bit closer than you expected, but Winter Power wasn't being challenged, and she's such a speedy filly that the flat fire that York really does suit. And I think Dave Allen, he gets on very, very well with her. I
mean, you're looking at David Allen, that is a man in command of that race, isn't it, out in front, and the rest of them are getting in each other's way. I think we're all screaming for Mosgiel to get those gaps, but I think even if they come earlier.
Oh no, I think the best horse won. I mean, that was a beautiful performance. I'm only frustrated because Mosgiel now, in my mind, is suffering with a little bit of seconditis. Because look right to the line in a minute, and
the head carriage isn't the most enthusiastic.
It's not, and now look.
There's a bit of chin action going on. There's all sorts of
just a bit quirky in a negative way, and Winter Power absolutely the best performance. Look, straight as a die, so professional. It was a pleasure to watch. Apart from I didn't win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, apart from the.
Which does just annoy me.
You wouldn't guess that.
Monetary aspect. But yeah, Winter Power then wins the City Wall Stakes at 9 to 4. Mosgiel 16 to 5 back in second. Urban Beat back in third. So crossbars rattled there for us in the finale at York. But yeah, it's been a hectic day. It's been an up and down day. But we did see an incredible feature race at least, and all the right sprinters came to the fore, and we could have a new star in the sprinting ranks in the shape of the well-named Star Man. As for the other races, we saw some frustrating handicaps and a lack of early pace in a lot of those contests cost us, but Starman will surely be the centre and front page news tomorrow.
With some cool graphics.
Absolutely, with all sorts of stars bursting off the
out
off the screen. Is Starman the star of the day,
Maybe
or is there something else?
Starman, like bursting through a star,
Are you? I mean, are
and
you?
then like lights behind.
Yeah, no, I like it.
I'm up for that job if anyone wants to employ me
Are you
as
much of a
racing
Photoshop
post
wizard
designer.
then? Is that?
Oh no, but
But you'll draw it with crayons. We can draw it.
glitter pens.
With glitter
Glitter
pens.
pen. I can imagine glitter pens.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the notes
I
aren't
have
a
loads
bit
of glitter
more,
pens at
more
home.
sparkly.
A whole pack of glitter pens, which I write cards. But no, I've had 2 winners, 2 seconds. I'm not annoyed, but I wanted it to be 4 winners.
No, I want it to be 11 winners personally, but I'm pretty. Yeah, I've had. I mean, La Trinidad, I thought was going to set me up for a good day, but it's
Started off well.
It did start
Yeah.
off well, and you started off badly and ended well. So
Yeah,
we've balanced it out between
lots
us.
of places. Starman, he was the star
He was,
performance.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that was good. We really saw a cracking sprint race where they all featured. I think they all ran up to form. And Ed Walker probably vindicated by pulling him out at Royal Ascot, not giving him a hard race on what's unsuitable ground, you'd imagine. And great season to look forward to with the sprint division.
Absolutely. And Barry, I mean, we're fiddling around for winners in here. You've been knocking them in left, right, and centre.
Yeah, we managed to do a couple of things right, yeah, out of 11 races, thankfully. We got a few quid for the charity that's yet to be nominated, so we'll have a good think about that, and we'll get something, I'm sure, some worthy cause before the end of the month.
Absolutely. I think we have too many cooks in that regard. We need one person to sit down and make that decision. That's it for a hectic Saturday then here on Racing Post Live. Thank you for watching at home. I hope you had a few winners for sure. We are back next week. We'll be off to the Curragh for the Irish Oaks, and Dave Orton will be back in the saddle for that, where Snowfall will likely be a red-hot favourite to follow up that Epsom victory. Thank you to Nat, thank you to James, and of course thank you to Barry representing Betfair, and thank you to all at home. If you continue to do so, just remember, if you are watching the England game and you do have a bet, please gamble responsibly, because if we do win, I'm not sure anyone's going to remember it by the end, but it could be quite the weekend here. And we will see you next week for the Irish Oaks.